How's it going, everyone? And welcome to another episode of No Excuses with your favorite show host, Ara still.
Graham?
And Volcel, did Fern get cut off for you? Because I didn't.
He got.
You just warbled a bit too.
I think the server did what it does when we start showtime and just decided to poop itself for a minute. We'll see if it really poops itself later. I'll move the location again.
Yeah, sometimes it just says no for the sake of saying no.
Yeah. Also, Discord server's been having trouble this week. Like I tried to connect to the voice chat server just to sit in it, and it wouldn't finish connecting one day.
Yes. Anyway, we're all here to bring you the latest news and video games news. I was thinking about something else, so I ended up talking in circles. Anyway, we're all here today. Fern will be here presently and possibly in the future, and there may be a gap where he is not, or 2 gaps, or 3 gaps.
Oh.
Depending on what happens. We don't really know. But we are here today. We are not in co-op because we tried to start co-op, and now I am trying to unpick the reason why. And based on the error messages that I am collecting from around the interface, it sounds like when you have started but not completed the current chapter of the main story quest in Woowa, co-op is just disabled until you're finished. It doesn't matter what else you're doing at the time. If it's in progress, it's disabled.
Yeah, and this week,
so
you didn't have time to
be
finish
told.
it. I was doing other games main story, trying to get another one done, so I have not touched the main story at all.
Yeah, there's a flag on here saying that co-op's not available for the duration of the quest. I don't know if there's a step that you can move on to where that will change, but as things currently stand, we'll just have to deal with it. But yes, we're here to bring you the latest news and get video games. I did it again. We're here to bring you the latest stuff that happened this week for us, because the only things that happened in the video games industry was Nvidia getting memed on. So, yeah.
That's been glorious.
Anyway,
yeah.
This is the penalties of AI. It's being bad for everybody, generally speaking.
I just don't know who could have looked at that and said, yes, this is a thing people will want.
The ecclesiastical goss is that the next papal encyclical is going to be on AI, which means it's just going to be the cringest stuff imaginable.
Yeah.
It's like, does the Pope really need to write an encyclical about AI? Really? I know it's like regarded as one of the big issues of our time, but please.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, although I'd be worried if he starts worshipping our robot overlords. But
I just don't want to see what it says. I don't.
Honestly, no, I don't either.
But you're not Catholic. It's not binding teaching for you.
No. It's gonna be just cringe, pure and simple.
The best case scenario is it's like, all right, that makes sense. The worst case scenario is Vol's getting ya boy jokes from me for like at least 2 weeks.
Hey, it's not just my boy, because this Pope is an American.
He is American.
The first American Pope.
Yes. So it's your fault.
Yeah.
I think he's from like Chicago or something, though.
Yeah, like one of those cities that is more the city than the country around it.
Yeah.
Especially the Chicago. It's called the Chicago for a reason.
Anywho, I got my new mic set up.
Yes, he does have his new mic set up, and his new mic is significantly better than his old mic, one of the side effects of which being that we can hear his voice bouncing off his walls.
Yes, I'll have to probably do something about that.
I've taken care of it for the meantime. I'm also turning Vol up in real time. This may backfire.
Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go.
You know what happens when you touch those sliders during this recording.
Only a couple percent.
Anyway, if you'd like to get involved with the show, you can do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com. You can follow us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw. You can join us in the Discord server, which can be got to through the link provided in the show description and the show archive on YouTube.
Yes, indeed. So, we will start this week with Fern's week because he will have to run away first, and then I vote we do the email while we still got Fern here after that, and we'll pick up with the individual stuff with my week, and then we'll do Vol and then the gotchas. That seems like the most logical case that is most likely to catch Fern and all the stuff he can talk about.
Yes. I'm solid for at least an hour, so we're good. But I don't have a whole lot worth talking about. Honestly, part of my week has just been sitting back and watching the NVIDIA dumpster fire. It has been glorious. But aside from that, it's been getting this stupid mic set up, because I had it all set up, and then I opened the option menu like 2 minutes before the show.
And I said,
and
oh
it took personal offense to that.
Yeah, I said, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I didn't touch any options. I just opened the options.
So yeah, next week he'll have it all jiggered to how he wants, and then I will sound test again around that. So if you're wondering why Discord is behaving odd with it and why I'm messing with sound sliders mid-show, that's why.
Yeah.
It does sound to me like Fern's got some slightly wacky automatic gain change going on.
Yeah.
It's possible, but I don't want to.
Server.
It might be the server. It might be Discord. But I don't want to touch anything because it will explode.
Yes. For now, it is recordable. There is some echo, but it's very tolerable. We're fine.
We'll live with it. So yeah, my gaming most of this week has been Monster Hunter Stories 3. Not as much as I would have liked, but it's still proving to be a good time. You do unlock the eugenics pretty early on, so you can build your custom monsters pretty much right off the gate. I'm trying to remember, actually, for Stories 2, when you had a monster that donated a gene, did you get to keep that monster in that one? I know in the first one you lost it.
I'm not entirely sure. I think you functionally keep one, I think, and one of them becomes a sacrifice of sorts, but I can't remember for sure. It's been a long time.
It has. Like, Stories 1, that was definitely how it worked. You'd sacrifice one to steal one gene. But in 3, you swap genes between the two. And you get to keep both. So even if you...
So you have to inverse eugenics one of them to be terribly bad so you can compile all the good genes on the other one?
Yes.
That seems cruel. Like, eugenics has got its ethical quandaries from the way that it judges inherent value, but selectively using eugenics to breed like genetic dead ends seems kind of cruel.
Well, that's where the environmental restoration is, because once you have finished harvesting a monster for all its useful genes, you can release it into the wild.
Yeah, but it's just like a blob on the ground that's lying there saying "kill me" in monster speak.
It is, and yet somehow it counts. So yeah, the monster environmental restoration system that they touted it's very simple, but I found it very engaging. Each zone is broken up into 4 sub-zones, and each of those has an element. And each also has 10 monster slots. The first 5 are preset. That's the nature or the naturally occurring monsters. And then after that, you can either breed in new monsters into those other 5 slots, or by raising the rank of the existing ones, you can get evolutions or mutations. And that will also take up a slot. So that's how you get your subspecies to appear. I made a terrible mistake and put into the first zone you go to Anjanaths. And for some reason, the game has said, oh, you want ridiculously overleveled Anjanaths right outside the main town. Here you go.
That was how it was in Final Fantasy 12, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
It was basically an Anjanath right outside the city. So you're like level 1 and it's like level 35 or something.
And it will eat you. Yes. Xenoblade Chronicles X is the same too. It's like you got the main town and then you step outside and there's this like level 99 bug or something. So yeah, you can play around with that. once you start raising the rank of a monster in the zone, it has a chance of appearing with that zone's element. So you can harvest genes that way, or it will also appear, depending on its rank, with a set skill. So you can harvest that as well. But beyond that, it's all just run around, collect eggs, take them back to your camp, hatch them, and release them into the wild to repeat and repeat. It's very, very simple. Story-wise, it hits a little bit harder than the first one. It's not afraid to kill a character. Or the second one, I should say. The first game had a character die, and then he just came back edgy, so there was that.
I don't know what happened in the first one. I just watched the anime.
The anime is basically the plot. The anime is also very, very silly. But aside from using actual kinship attacks, no one is rabbiting on about kinship anymore, which is nice. The first game is it's just power of friendship all day, every day. It got old really
the
quick.
cringe must flow.
The cringe must flow. The second game, it was also a lot of power of friendship, but also do Wyverians lay eggs? And a decent plot. So this one, they've reduced the cringe factor even further. So I'm enjoying it so far. There's one other big thing, which is don't sleep on your companion's side stories. As in a lot of cases, they'll give you vital recipes that you need to unlock items like your traps and stuff like that. Or in some cases, actual full game subsystems that you need. So things like in order to do your Monsterpedia fully, you need to go and do a side story, which it doesn't tell you that you need to go and do it to unlock it. But it's like one of the first sub-stories that unlocks, so it's optional content. You can just blast through the main story if you so choose, though. So, yeah, that's largely been my week. I haven't had a whole lot of chance to do much else. Though, I admit I did spend probably more time than I really should just staring at the Steam spring sale.
I've stopped looking at them because it's like, there are, I'm sure, things that I'd be interested in there, but I would buy them and just not play them. And I sort of reached the point where it's like, there's got to be an upper limit on how many things I buy that I know I'm not going to get around to playing.
Yeah. So that's kind of where my thought process was. It's like, I'm sitting here and I just look because, that game will be fun. I'll put that on the wish list. Or that one I might look at later and put it on the wish list. And yeah, they're cheap and I could grab them now, but honestly, I don't have enough time to play the games I've got. I could buy Avowed for $50.
And do what with it?
Allow it to collect dust.
I'm sure
dust will get more enjoyment out of it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You seem to have a low opinion of the taste of your dust.
My dust is primarily copper-heavy dirt. No lead. So there's that. Actually, instead of getting Avowed, there was a Arthurian-themed one. I'm trying to remember what it was actually called. That one would probably be a better use of my time.
This is the other thing that I've seen people memeing on this week has been people memeing on that Lesbian Night game.
I watched a few people playing that game, and oh boy. It looks like when characters are standing there talking to each other, they are mid-stroke. Just the way their faces move. They have selective paralysis of their facial muscles. It's very, very strange. And once you notice it, you can't look away. Here it is, Tainted Grail. Play that.
I don't know this one. I got one went right past me this week.
The other thing I've seen people talking about also, what was it? Crimson Desert, and everybody was whinging about the controls. I don't even know what it is.
It is a single player spin off from Black Desert Online.
Right.
So naturally, you are supposed to be playing it with tentacles that never wear down. Yeah. I enjoyed my time with Black Desert Online, but I didn't have a whole lot of attachment to the universe. And that game does eventually turn into a pay your way out of frustration grind.
That's why I stopped playing it, was because when I looked into what the end game would be, like all of the videos were of people doing these very specific, very dangerous PvP area farming loops.
Yep. And you do that for 10 hours for a chance to spin the wheel to upgrade an item. And there is a chance that spinning that wheel will destroy the item. So, or you could pay money and remove that chance, so you only just fail.
Was that the one where the cosmetics got so out of hand it functionally turned into a Gunner game?
I mean, it's a Korean MMO. That describes basically all of them.
Yeah, I just remember that one in particular for some reason being tagged with the stigma.
Yeah. I think Terra was
You
probably
play
the worst.
Ion?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, played
briefly.
Ion and Terra.
I never played it. I never played Ion, but I was like, that was also in that category. And then they made a sequel that never took off or something, right? I can't
Maybe.
I
remember
don't think
exactly.
I did not play
think
Ion
anyone really played it.
I didn't play it for very long.
No.
Like I played it when
Yeah,
it
it's because
first came out.
I played it later on when it went free to play. I played it for a little bit, but it's like visual noise of the game when you walk into the main town, because every character or every player who is established has their character decked out in so many like giant wings and visual effects and stuff.
Yeah.
You just can't see anything. They're in there somewhere.
Yeah, those Korean MMOs, they know how to make money off their cosmetics.
And it's to make Ellen swimsuits.
It is to make Ellen swimsuits, yes.
We try very hard not to think about that one.
Yes. Or you could just play one of the dragon people in Terra and just completely do away with pants.
I remember one time I got a friend into it, and he enjoyed it right until he started getting armor, and then he's like, "Why is my badass dragon warrior wearing assless chaps?"
He has nothing to declare, so why not? He enjoys the breathe around his non-existent nethers. So yeah, it's been a while. I think the last Korean MMO I played was Lost Ark. And
I only just touched
visual noise
one.
there again.
I touched it for like all of 5 minutes and was like, nope, not for me.
I didn't dislike it, but it became obvious very, very quickly that it was going to be RNG based gearing.
Yep.
Just
With
spam up
pay to win.
fail to get anything. Well,
Yeah.
from what I experienced of the way the systems worked, it wasn't strictly pay to win, but it was the difference in like speed between paying and not paying was so great that you were like very definitely a second class citizen if you didn't pay into it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the core gameplay of Lost Ark is a lot of fun. I'll give it that. But yeah, the grind. The grind is very, very real. So yeah, I need to play more Vidya. I just haven't had the time or really the drive to lately, honestly. The just sitting back and just watching the AAA industry slowly collapse.
Uh-oh. My computer's behaving a little bit strangely.
Uh-oh.
You had PC shoes.
Yeah, I've been having some PC issues lately. As of like very, very recently, that is to say late last night, early this morning. I got a blue screen of death indicating hardware failure. And things have been a little bit sketchy since, and I'm not sure why or how to solve it.
Yeah.
Really don't want to buy more stuff. That would be troublesome.
Well, considering did have a think about it, and like I did have a blue screen of death that sounds similar to what you've got. It's just random, it seems.
I did.
And that was a dead
There's always the chance that it's random, but
it's not
I'm
entirely.
thinking the a lot about this suggests that the M2 drive is at fault.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had one that gave me a similar hardware error that I thought was my install drive for the OS, which was an M2 drive, but it turned out just to be a random blue screen. I've not had it happen again.
Okay. So yeah, as long as it's like M2 drives are getting expensive as well. This is not RAM, because then you're going to be hard pressed to actually find any.
I don't know that it's not RAM.
I wouldn't rule it out. It could very well be RAM. Yeah, in that case, good luck finding some because it's sold out everywhere.
Do have two
Well, I
extra sticks
mean,
just in case.
my main board is old enough that I might still be able to find some.
Maybe. Are you still on DDR4 or are you on DDR5?
I honestly don't. But yeah, I've never run very much RAM in my system because huge amounts of RAM very rarely benefits you all that much.
There's kind of an upper limit, yeah. So, yeah, that's honestly been my week. It hasn't been a whole lot.
Okay.
Unless you want to talk about my adventures in cleaning sewer pipes,
I mean,
which I don't think anybody does.
Isn't that like a specialty of our steels?
I
Yeah.
sell equipment that moves stuff through sewer pipes. I don't clean them.
Yeah. At least the jet cleaner makes it easy. Just hook it up to your pressure washer and away you go. But yeah, not a fun job.
No. Just
There is a very, very easy and obvious joke here I am refraining from.
anytime I'm on a job site and it smells terrible, I'm just telling myself that's the smell of money.
That's the smell of poo, is what that is.
But it's going to become money.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
computer, behave yourself, please. Please.
I don't like the sound of this.
It just keeps temporarily freezing up. Some things don't freeze and other things do. Like your sound channel seems to be all right, but everything else is not.
That's alarming. So you might just vanish at some random point.
It could happen that way. I'm just gonna see if I've got a readout for my CPU temperature, just to be sure.
Mm.
I don't know if I've installed one though.
Yeah, I thought it might be heat at first, but if it's happening when you're just idle, it's unlikely.
Yeah.
Well, even then, it could just be it could still be heat because things can just wind up drawing more power than they're supposed to if you got some other issue causing it. Sometimes you can work around, fix it by like don't open the side of the case, that'll kill your airflow, but you can crack it, unscrew it, and move it down a little bit.
Yeah.
The real risk is usually the sodding, whatchamacallit, the mounting of the heatsink on certain devices. Now mine is screwed in place now. It's not like the old one, but in the past I remember I had Intel coolers that could just like occasionally a pin would just pop off and a corner of the heatsink would no longer be seated in place.
That is less than ideal.
Yeah.
Indeed it is.
That would be bad.
Yes.
Do you have a AIO or just a fan cooler?
No, I've just got a fan cooler, but my fan cooler is gigantic. I've installed a humongous one. No, all of my temperatures are fine.
Yeah.
Or so it appears. The sensors are fine. M2s are running at 50 degrees or below. They can go happily up to 70, so that's not an issue. No, I don't know why it is misbehaving. Which means it's a data level problem. Which is worse.
That's even harder to diagnose.
Yeah, short of just taking the drive out and putting a new one in with Windows on it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, until the problem becomes like repeating and replicable, I can't really go for that because I won't be able to tell if it's fixing the problem or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's like the CPU has spit the dummy, then I will have wasted my time and money, a lot of money.
There's also the lingering stench of Windows 11 on the horizon.
Yeah, it's
I didn't.
you're
I
already
didn't
down to
install
having to buy sketchy CD keys from third party totally English we swear websites.
Yes. That even my computer's now starting to pop up with the upgrade now notices. I managed to kill them for a while, but not forever.
They'll be back. They are always back. You must
They're
running
always
CPUs
back.
at 45 degrees. Like, come on.
Yeah, okay.
GPUs at 62 degrees. M2's at 50 degrees. There's no okay, so this is not a heating problem. Oh, well,
Yeah,
that's what it is. Let's turn
they're
off
up a
some of the
little bit,
post.
but not alarmingly so. But yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let's just not worry about it until it actually blue screens again, and then I'll cry.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to leave my week at that because I don't have a whole lot to talk about, and I just scrolled down on Steam too far and got the weird meme games.
Oh,
There's a game called Mr. Donald.
Oh no.
It's exactly what it sounds like.
Oh no.
Yeah, I saw somebody posting, and I sort of like even if it might not strictly be true, I get the vibe. Somebody was posting like nobody makes games for gamers anymore. They only make games for streamers and troons.
Mm.
I mean, there does seem to be a humongous profusion of games that are clearly designed to be watched, not played.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some of them are a lot of fun if you for like one session, and then after that, it's more fun just watching other people play them. But at that point, they've already got your money, so mission accomplished, I guess.
Well, depending on whether or not you're within the Steam refund period.
Well, there's that too.
You gotta have just enough game there to make it just over 2 hours of engagement.
Yep.
And I bet they really think about that now as well.
Some of
It's
them
like,
do, yeah.
how do I make sure they stay engaged long enough that I don't get refunded on?
Go over 2 hours. Good luck working that out with Steam Support.
I feel bad for all those developers, those indie developers who really are just trying to make their dream game and not just trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah, even if their dream game is a short and sweet little thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But 2 hours isn't a high bar to follow, I think.
Unless you're making another VN about depression.
Well, yeah.
Or just anything about my depression. Like, I would happily sing Celeste praises as a game if it wasn't another depression story.
Yeah.
Not every game needs to be about having the sads. Everybody feels down sometimes. You don't need to make a game about it.
Yeah, as a puzzle platformer, Celeste is actually a lot of fun, but it's about the sads.
About my depression and climbing the mountain of depression.
With your
Struggling
edgy alter ego.
Yeah, and the whole premise of the game and why it's so hard is it's hard to work around depression and live with it. You can't ever escape it. You never get better. It's a terminal illness.
You can't ever escape it if the media keeps talking about it.
like I got something for you guys. It's a trick. Stand up on your own 2 feet. Go walk and find literally anything to do. I've just cured depression for 99.99999 repeating percent of people. Don't need drugs.
Yeah, it's like
you need
that's
feet.
that's the thing, right? There is this bizarre sort of cause and effect thing that people don't seem to realize that it's not that depression causes bed rotting causes depression.
Like, just stop taking your drugs, stand up, and start walking. Find literally anything. Ta-da!
I mean, I'm not without sympathy, and it's hard to maintain any kind of like reasonable mental health in a world which is militates against good mental health at all times. But you do have to put some effort in.
Like, I'm just saying, as the person that doesn't use Twitter amongst everybody I know, I seem significantly happier all the time than everybody else.
I was thinking that. Like,
or any social media.
Yeah, cut out social media from your life, and you will be a much happier person.
I need my leaks, man.
I mean, social media for leaks and shit posting is fine, but when it's like your primary method of connecting with the world, no. Don't.
Yeah. Like
I'm sort of the whole kit and caboodle's a little bit frustrating to me because like the reason why boomers always vote for stupid politicians is because they don't know anything about those politicians. But the fact that now everybody has access to information thanks to social media and what those stupid politicians are doing doesn't appear to have amended anybody's behavior.
Well, not really. It's because now instead of doing it out of ignorance, it's like, well, all of them are stupid.
Well, it's just changed the orientation, right? Before they voted for stupid politicians because they were under the impression politicians weren't stupid. Now they know politicians are stupid, but they hate the people voting for the other guy.
Which is possibly even worse, honestly.
Yeah, so they've gone for ignorant voting in the name of attempting to vote for what they think is a good idea, to just hate voting. Just hate voting because they hate the other guy who votes for the other guy.
Unga bunga tribalism.
Beep choopy.
Yeah, like without social media though, there would be way less Phoebe AI brain rot.
That is true.
It would be.
That's like the only AI brain rot I'll give a pass for your slop because there is no context for Phoebe. It's not adorable, but it's still not good for you. It's like McDonald's. Yeah, the double quarter pounder tastes great. Not good for you.
Good for you.
I haven't been to a McDonald's since they kicked me out for not being vaccinated.
Oh yeah. Forgot that happened. But yeah, that was a time.
There was the people in that time were so happy to be given that tiny skerrick of power.
Like,
yeah,
I've never felt more vindicated in my belief that nobody, no person should ever just be handed authority than I was during Coof.
It's like literally everybody who was like given like a tiny trace of power to admit or deny admittance to anybody in any context, they all turned into like absolute totalitarian dictators.
And also,
like to the last man, every single one of them.
It also reaffirmed my belief that George Washington was literally a man blessed by God. Because he could have been king of America. And he managed to resist.
I think he should have been, because I don't think American political system has any legitimacy.
Could you imagine just how ostentatious the American crown would be?
I think it would have been awesome. I think America should have been a kingdom. It should have been a monarchy because the drip would have been incredible.
It would have been absolutely incredible. But yeah, my biggest gripe about the whole Coof period is everybody got to have a forced holiday except for me.
I didn't get a holiday either because I work in. It was necessary for me to be working in order for there to be running water.
Yeah, it was.
I live and work with people to whom hygiene is a word that is sounds
that
funny
means,
and they can't
hello,
pronounce.
Gene.
Hello, Gene. But yeah, and not once did I catch the Coof. Not once.
Oh, you probably caught the Coof in air quotes. Can we? Are we allowed to bad talk the Coof now? Is that time?
I think that the moratorium on bad talking Coof is lifted.
Okay, because there was a coronavirus that just wasn't reported in fact. That just weren't reported
More
that
than
year.
two.
Well, half of the common colds that go around every year are coronavirus.
That's the first one. The common cold reports were almost zilch. And also, where'd the flu go?
Yeah. We have annual flus.
But you don't in 2020. That's the problem.
Yeah,
that was the problem.
The claim is that all the people who would have died of the flu got COVID instead. It's like, that's convenient, isn't it?
Yeah, and in the U.S., the idiots in Congress gave bonuses in state and federal Congress to hospitals that had more COOF cases. And you think they didn't cook the numbers by just or just reporting every flu and common cold case as COOF? And that's assuming I even buy that COOF's real, which that's pushing the envelope on YouTube, I think. I won't go there, but anybody that knows me should know where I'm going there.
I think it's okay to badmouth the COOF, but to deny it is still a no-no.
Yeah, anybody that knows.
Well,
me
I mean, you can argue till the cows come home about the semantics of denying the COOF. It's like that there was a cold going around that year is not really a denial. A denial, because I saw it rip through all of my co-workers. We all got the same symptoms eventually. It took months because all of the people who weren't immunized got it first, and then I eventually got it later. But it was everybody had the same symptoms at my workplace, and we just we took our turns at catching the cold, and the same process we repeated every year. Somebody will get a cold, usually from one of their kids who's brought it back from school, and then they'll bring it to work, and then we'll all take turns getting sick. This happens every year. It's just that there was this one year where we were expected to act like the world was ending while it happened.
Yeah. I was labeled an essential service, thankfully, so I didn't lose the business, but I did have to get creative to stay afloat that year.
Yeah.
Just thinking about 2020.
Still downloading.
This makes me so mad. I hate everything about it.
Such a dumb time.
So many illusions shattered that year, the few that were left, and so much vindication on all the worst things I thought about humanity. Okay, we have an email. We should get through that first while Fern's still here.
We should.
Email? Are you trying to hint that I should read it?
Yes. I got banned twice.
Let me clear my throat.
That did weird things to the microphone.
Yeah, that was a goopy one.
Did weird things to my throat.
Yeah.
Anyway, dear No Excuses. Well, here we are in Plan Arcadia, drawn without reference material for Space Japan, apparently. Ignore the mechs, the cat girls, the magical girls, the Sailor Fuku school uniforms. 4.0, the patch that is the worst for short quantum girls. It was fun, actually. With all the jade saved up, I'm going to try and build both elation teams. Probably with less than half the light cones. As for non-gacha stuff, I have bought... Don't even bother with the name.
Ooh. It's got an umlaut.
Well, I don't know how to pronounce an umlaut. So
I don't think that is actually supposed to be pronounceable anyway. I think it's supposed to look like a caterpillar.
I'll take your word for it. A deceptively simple yet amazing puzzle game. Animal Well, a deceptively complex puzzle platformer, Metroidvania, and Haunted Lands, the most Biomenace plus Monster Bash game ever, with all the 90s apogee vibe and difficulty you could ever want. There are a few modern concessions like shortcuts and unlockable upgrades, but you still only get 4 hit points, checkpoints do not refill them, and healing is few and far between. But most importantly, Death Wish 2.0 released. The most important bit is of course episode 4, but the rest of the levels got a touch up too. Death Wish continues to be the best set of maps I've played in any FPS ever, including AAA ones. Shame about the crappy combat of Blood, but the atmosphere more than makes up for it. Serathis.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Man, I spent so much of my childhood playing Biomenace and Monster Bash.
Those games, the Apogee era was an era of brutally hard games for absolutely no reason.
It was a golden age.
It was.
My expectations of my own ability to play video games were so low that I never cared that I never finished a single one of them.
Especially like Monster Bash in particular, is you'd just be walking along a platform and then just something that was previously deemed safe would just fall on your head and kill you.
It do be like that.
Mr. Stansel.
Yes. So games like a parody game like I Want to Be the Guy, if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They claim they're a parody, but no, Monster Bash was that game. It would just kill you for the pure giggle of it. Oh, Apogee. Whatever happened to Apogee anyway? I think they got consumed.
Didn't
Yeah.
they get rolled into id?
I think it was id.
No, actually, I think Apogee still exists in some form.
Let me see. Apogee Games. I will ask the internet.
Apogee Entertainment.
Part of 3D Realms, we knew that. So they are currently a part of Saber Interactive. There you go. So Saber Interactive has actually been doing pretty well.
They embrace a group like everybody else.
They are Embracer, yeah.
That isn't owned by Tencent.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I guess they technically still exist. Also, I got to get used to the idea of a microphone that doesn't move with me now. So if I keep fading in and out, that's why. It's because I move.
I remember they used to distribute the Apogee games with an electronic catalog with mail order instructions for buying the other games that they made.
Yeah. So when you bought an Apogee game, it would like come with the discs, and it would have one disc which was just shareware. I remember shareware.
Yeah. Shareware is dead, Jim.
I'm dead, Jim. But yeah, it was the days before the internet where you had to post away in order to buy a game. But shareware would just give you a quarter of the game, and usually the better quarter of the game, just for free. There's a lot of shareware games, like all the good stuff was in that first quarter. And then after that, it was just,
Yeah, because that's what they...
Well, it tended to get more and more weird as it went along.
Yeah, we're looking at you, Commander Keen.
Yeah.
Commander Keen got really weird towards the end of his games. Chapter 1, everything is, bright and colourful and green fields and waterfalls. And then, Chapter 4, it's like Meat Circus.
Meat Circus.
Everyone knows the Meat Circus.
Yeah, I remember the first Commander Keen when you used to have to pogo on top of things to stun them and so on, and half the enemies were not actually able to even kill you. They just pushed you around to make you fall off of things. And I never really liked the first Duke Nukem, even though it was popular at the time.
They were kind of weird and clunky, the original Duke Nukems.
But I also never really played much of Wolfenstein 3D. I did play Word Rescue. I remember Word Rescue. Do you remember Word Rescue?
I never actually played Word Rescue.
What about Math Rescue?
No, I never played any of the rescue games. And those ones miss me.
Educational.
Edutainment.
All these games ring bells in my head, but that era was just a little bit before I was cognizant, so I only picked it up on the back end. With
what about Raptor? Raptor was awesome.
Raptor was good.
Raptor was really good.
Yeah.
Hocus Pocus, I was a bit. It's kind of weird. The guy you play as seems kind of fat. Like. What about Wacky Wheels?
I loved Wacky Wheels. Mario Kart before Mario Kart.
Most shameless sort of like it was like a Mario Party in essence, because the whole point was to make whoever you were playing split screen with completely miserable.
Yeah, by throwing hedgehogs at them.
Purpose.
It was like a clone of the original Mario Kart, but just the stupid was cranked all the way up. I loved it. It was so good.
That one does not ring a bell. I don't think I ever played or heard of that one.
Was it definitely before Mario Kart? I don't remember exactly what the
I
timeline looks like.
let me. Well, it's the internet.
The Mario Kart is 1992. Wacky Wheels is 1994.
There you go. Wacky Wheels
So
is definitely just a rip of Mario Kart.
Yeah.
So dumb. And again, weaponized hedgehogs everywhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, weren't you technically riding lawnmowers, like ride on lawnmowers? Wasn't that the thing?
Yeah, I think they are supposed to be go-karts, but yeah. Yeah, it's all just basically zoo animals are racing. That's your plot. There you go.
Oh, why would you need more than that?
You didn't. It was great.
Beat Shoopy.
And honestly, it's a game that someone probably threw together in a weekend in their shed.
I don't know, it seemed pretty robust to me. I remember having a real great time playing it.
Yeah. The hard part was actually getting it running because it was 1994.
Yeah, I remember the setup app that you always had to run before playing
Yeah.
any of those games, where you had to select all your drivers and things
Yep.
manually.
Everyone knew command prompt. Because otherwise, you weren't playing games.
And the reality was you had to cross your fingers, select Sound Blaster, and hope that it worked.
Yes, except for the occasional time where it was just randomly decided to be Apogee. Oh, no, sorry, Adobe. Or whatever it was. The other one.
I don't remember.
There was another one, and I keep forgetting. Incidentally, my soundbar is a Sound Blaster. They still exist.
Well, Creative Labs didn't go anywhere. Did they?
No, they didn't. No,
Creative
no, they're still Creative
Labs.
Labs. Well, they're just creative now, I think.
Creative Labs Pte Ltd.
Okay, so they're still technically Creative Labs. Yeah, it's a pretty good soundbar, actually. Wasn't too expensive either.
I've always that's actually the main reason that I never bought a television. It's like, well, I would need a sound system, and I have no idea how a soundbar could possibly be good. It doesn't seem like it should be.
It doesn't when you think about it, but essentially it's just a 3-in-1 surround sound system in one unit. And honestly, these days, if you're buying a TV, you buy a speaker of some description because TV speakers are butts.
I've heard they've been getting steadily worse over time, and so has sound engineering.
Yeah,
for movies and things.
Yeah. Oh, the audio balancing on a lot of stuff. It sounds great in a theater, but then you bring it into a home setting, and it's like ranging from ridiculously quiet to blow your earballs out.
Yeah, well, they don't.
And it's got nothing to do with you.
They don't care about home sales. They're gonna make all their money in the theaters and by signing it off to streaming services with licenses and maybe royalties depending on the service, and that's it. They genuinely don't care how it sounds when it's on DVD or in your house.
Well, then they've got their money, so yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, they're not making money off you buying the DVD anymore or the VHS. Please be kind. Rewind.
Alright. That game has been popping up for me a lot. There's a video store simulator that's popped up on Steam. Retro Rewind.
Oh, I was just thinking. I said VHS. I'm like, I remember there was a thing inside the box from whenever you rented from Blockbuster. Please be kind. Rewind.
Yeah, Video Easy in Australia. We had Blockbuster, but it was all basically Video Easy, and they would charge you if you don't rewind.
Ours would just ask nicely. They could charge.
It was
you,
like
but...
50. Yeah, it was like a 50-cent charge. I don't know if it really cared, but yeah.
You might have been able to buy a pack of bubblegum in the 90s with that. Like,
you could have bought a fair bit with that in the 90s. A good packet of bubblegum.
Yeah, like
I remember there being vending machines that you could actually get something for 50 cents back when I was very small.
Yeah.
And I remember when a can of Coke from the vending machine was like $1.
Those were the days.
I went to the airport this week, and it was $5.
Whole dollars. Yeah, it wasn't long after like our childhood period where we kind of got the tail end of that before the first round of hyperinflation kind of hit the world.
Yeah, just thinking about like 75 cent to $1 Cokes when I was a kid from the vending machine, watching it go up to $1.25 and $1.50 and then $2. Then it just keeps going and going. Like, and you can just track how much the value of stuff is worth by that vending machine. That's how much money's been hit in my lifetime. I ain't quite 4 decades old yet, but it's my money was worth 5 times as much when I was a kid. Something's got to break on that eventually. There is no way the world's economies can sustain that.
Wow, it's
You'd
all
say that?
kind of a farce anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you say that, and then you think of like Vietnam's currency and how ridiculously inflated that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000,000 dong is not much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dong.
Yeah, it's dong. That's
Dong.
Vietnam's currency.
That show up with a wheelbarrow. Not that one.
Yeah, I think 1,000,000 dong is like 1,000 Australian bucks or something. Not even that much. I think it might be about 600 Australian bucks. It's not much. Anywho,
Right.
So,
I
yeah. What else?
Yeah. I unfortunately can't comment on most of that because the Apogee era was they were around when I was a kid and I played some of them if they were hanging around, but they were not a big part of my childhood because the NES was already established. That's where most of my early gaming was done.
It was the day of floppy disks, and then later on, questionably sourced CDs that may or may not have been an officially licensed product, but were still sold in stores and supermarkets and places.
Yeah, so I only got to play those type of games if they were laying around in an office somewhere, and they got handed to me, or I found them just near a computer at the time. Was not something I could actively participate in, so I don't have very many memories of them.
Yeah.
So, alrighty. The rest of his email, I've heard Animal Well's good. It's also the donkey game though, and that's made me hesitant to scoop it.
What's a donkey?
A video game donkey.
What's a video game donkey?
YouTuber that sounds like he's got serious brain damage when he talks.
Yeah, it's kind of become a thing that YouTubers over a certain size will now make a game.
Well, he became a publisher apparently. It was helping a few indies get published with all his YouTube bucks, and this was one of them. And I was immediately skeptical of it because it published by internet personality is not something I hold as a mark in your favor. But people said it was good.
It's very good, very grim and very dark looking. Very moist looking also, which is impressive for pixel art.
Yeah.
How do you make pixel art moist?
Yeah, that too.
I mean, sometimes I see these video game people, personalities, streamers, etc. online, usually in clips and somebody else's content, and it's like, I think this person might actually be retarded. Like, he sounds like he's having difficulty assembling his thoughts.
Yeah.
And yet everybody is hanging on his every word. Why is that?
Yes, how much of it is an act for the character and how much is just him?
You know, when I was little, heroes were like, all your big 80s action movie stars or Chuck Norris or something, who sadly passed away this week.
Yeah. That's mortality is just not good enough for Chuck Norris, I guess.
I wrote the cringiest internet eulogy I could in the No Excuses general chat.
This is good and proper.
Everybody wrote the exact same one because it's what immediately comes to mind to the people of our generation.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, but still, at least Chuck Norris was a strong, big, cool man while he was alive.
He did
It
stuff.
did, and sold home gyms.
Yeah, like
He did.
he's at home selling total gems.
Hurdle gyms, yes.
But you know, at least that's something. That's something productive and useful. And you know, big fit man, good hero. Had a sound mind. He sounded like, you know. So did most of the other people that you looked up to, or they at least had some qualities. Nowadays, all the Zoomers heroes are Drain Damage might be in fact generous for how some of these people talk. Yeah, that would be a step up from some of these people. Like,
yeah,
Asmongold may say the occasional base thing once in a while, but I don't exactly want people looking up to the guy that has roaches crawling across his desk.
This. I don't mind the Roach King so much. I don't watch his content, but
at least your house is something that you can clean up.
Yes.
Like, theoretically, he could resolve that at some point in the future.
He could.
At this point, it's kind of his brand now.
Yeah, but at this point, like, the Zoomers that look up to him are like, oh, well, my hero lives in a house that's so messy, roaches crawl across it.
I don't know. Do Zoomers actually look up to him? I think that he's for an older generation. He must be for the old tier of Zoomer.
He's been around for a fair while. His audience has kind of grown up now.
Yeah. You got to remember, the Zoomers are in the, like 2025 now.
Ugh.
Zoomers aren't.
Yeah, but you know, there's a humongous generation gap between millennials and millennials.
Yeah.
Yes.
They finally settled on like plucking millennials. The millennial date somewhere in the late 80s is now the start point or something nuts like that. I'm like, people that grew up in the late 80s, early 90s.
I count as a millennial. I'm 86 and I count as a millennial, but I don't understand anything from the lower sort of bracket of millennials, the younger bracket. Like, they have way more in common with the Zoomers.
Yeah, I'm kind of right on the line, so I'm not sure if I'm a millennial or Gen Y.
No, you and I are probably closer to the Gen X territory, simply because we're from the outer fringes. Because we're from the outer fringes of the Anglosphere, so pop culture will get to us more slowly than it gets to America. We're going to be lagging a couple years behind the earliest millennials from the US, and the US are usually the people who end up setting the dates. So we probably would be Gen X if we were in America, in a sense.
At least in terms of our outlook and a lot of things,
like our cultural milieu.
Yeah.
And then you can pretty cleanly split the millennials that can remember most of their childhood without the internet and those that can't.
Did they or did they not wear a man bun?
That would be the late millennials.
Yeah. Anyone who thought a man bun was a good idea, no, just get out.
Yeah, that was never a good idea.
That was never a good idea.
There were
a lot stupid.
There are a lot of things the late millennials just, that batch, they're screwed up. The Zoomers are going to be screwed up, but they're just now coming into real society, so we'll see how bad they got messed up.
At least the Zoomers are not responsible for 6-7. I think that's the alphas. The alphas are the season which that thing swims.
8, 6, 7, 9, 3, 9.
If that's swimming in there, I think that's an argument for boiling your water.
So we had counting for so many years before this younger generation ruined it. All of human history, in fact, we've had counting.
And you ruined
counting has been a thing that people could do. And now it's all ruined.
Mm-hmm.
We giggled when we got to 69, but that was it.
Yeah. Right. So we'll probably cover the rest of the stuff in your email regarding the Plan Arcadia stuff and the Gacha stuff when we get to the gachas. So thank you for the email, Sarathus, and we can move on. Fern, were you done with your week?
I'm all done. Yep.
All done? Okay. So I'm going to quickly go over what I have done this week because it's only been one thing. So, this week has been incredibly busy at work, especially Thursday. So what I've done this week is just play Lost Judgment, and I got sucked into the completionist world of Minigame Bonanza. So I was talking a bit about the general gameplay last week. The main story has picked up and gotten really rolling, and it's pretty good so far. I'm only about halfway done because they give you access to all the mini games at by like chapter 3. So you can just go everywhere and play with the mini games. That's the thing you can do. And yeah, I got hosed into that and doing all the random completion metrics, a bunch of which involved things like fly the drone for an hour or walk the dog for 10 kilometers in town, because we have a doggo now. His name is Ronpo. He can sniff stuff and track smells. Or you can just take the doggo for a walk. Which means you load up Lost Judgment on the Steam Deck and you put a rubber band on the stick and you leave it next to you while you work. Oh, it appears that Fern has mic muted. Don't know if that means he's gone or if he just muted.
I thought he would have said something, but well, I guess we'll just press on.
Yep. So yeah. So a lot of my time this week was just letting metrics like that get done, and the Steam Deck has been great for that. Because all I got to do is take it with me to the office, boot the game up, and let it do all the weird AFK completionist crap while it's sitting next to me. Like, just load up, just start flying the drone, and just let it sit there. and get the Chivo, and I'll check back in a few hours, and it's done. Okay, you've flown the drone for the enough time. You've walked the dog for 10 kilometers. Just all the weird stuff like that just takes time and no input, which there is a conspicuous amount of in this game in particular.
Do they get a good review for this type of thing? Like, is this just really popular that they put it in every single game?
I mean, part of it's just tradition to have weird, long completionist metrics for doing stuff like that, just to pad out the completion list. But, and only insane people are going to try and 100% these games anyway. See me, the example. So yeah. Actual time in game so far over the last 2 weeks has probably been about 30 hours. 35 hours that haven't been me just leaving the game open. Maybe closer to 40. Hard to earball it. The save file says like 53, I think. And about 13 of that was me taking it to the office and just leaving it on the Steam Deck and letting it do the AFK crap. So yeah. The difficulty of the completion metrics in this one is actually not too bad, aside from the AFK time waster crap. The actual daunting issue here is the raw amount of mini games they put in this game. Like, only a few of them have completion metrics that actually require you to really learn the mini game and do well. Most of them are just, do it. But there are so many. They have crammed like every mini game except for karaoke, and they've got the dance club as its alternative. From the Yakuza series is crammed in here. You got mahjong, you got koi koi, ochikubo, poker, blackjack, drone racing, like 4 or 5 different types of overworld collectibles to go find, that all give rewards. Darts, the biker racing, the robotics club, and their little robot battles, which are new to this game. Yagami, they just ported a janky, watered down version of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 and turned it into a minigame. So we have Yagami Pro Skater. There are so many. The girlfriends are back. The dating, or the girl bar is back, which is different from the girlfriends. The girl bar is you go and you chat with the hostesses and learn about them. and do their side stories. So they brought that back again.
Not talk the office girl into joining them.
No. She does that on her own this time in chapter 6.
I see.
She goes to get information on her own while Yagami's in Ijincho. So she's still in Kamurocho. So they've actually fully modeled her with player modeled bones this time, so you don't have to play her in first person this time. And you actually can drive her around for that chapter while she goes and gathers information. She can't fight or do anything really except progress the main story, but they actually gave her a player model this time, so that's a step up. And they cleaned up her model so she doesn't look as much like a monster when you put her in the dress up and everybody goes, "Oh, she's actually the most beautiful girl in town" when she cleans up. So it's slightly more believable this time. I think I took a picture actually. Yeah, there you go. And some of the screenshots are great that I took from the.
It looks grumpy.
Yeah. From the bar mini. Well, she is trying to con information out of gangsters. Oh, the pickle.
I think your microphone was just cutting out there.
You were muted, like hard muted.
No. Yeah, I know I was hard muted, but yeah, your mic was being a bit weird. Might just been on my end.
I wasn't hearing anything he was saying. I'm not really sure.
Oh, on my end?
On your end, yeah.
You know what, Discord? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go bleep bloop. Okay, as usual, once per show. Seems like I've got to shoot the server. So, yeah, the girls bar minigame is hilarious because you have to keep drinking and you have to push a button to assemble a sentence out of 3 sentence fragments, and you're given 3 options for each of the 3 sentence fragments. And the more drunk you are, the more ridiculous they get. So I took a screenshot of some really ridiculous ones because I actually did this one laying in bed on the Steam Deck, and I have most of my screenshots there because some of these were just downright hilarious. But that's what they look like.
Am I? You kind of going a bit hard on the simpage there, aren't you?
Well, he is drunk.
He becomes a simp when he's drunk.
Yeah, and it'll start like doing things like alternating caps and mushing words together and saying more and more ridiculous and over the top things. And the girlfriend stories are usually the weakest in the games. But there was one girlfriend in this game whose story was just the best one they've done of that batch. And was genuinely fun. Because oh no, Michio has become a popular mascot for Onomichi. Kamurocho has decided to make a mascot called Camulop. And he's been around for a couple games now. And you meet...
Yeah, he's special.
Yeah. The girl that they have inside the Camelop suit is also special in that she's so socially anxious she can't take off the suit without becoming a nervous wreck. And this is one of the girlfriend options in this game. So you wind up in situations where you are dating the Camulop costume.
Not necessarily the person inside it, just the costume.
Yeah. You also wind up with situations where, Yagami has to don the costume to help out, and when people try to pick fights with it and bully the Camelot, they don't know it's Yagami, so you get scenes like this. I was rather impressed with the timing on that screenshot, because that flying hop did not last very long.
I love you, Yakuza. This is why.
So there's a lot of silly going on in the side content. The main story is very dark and also ambitious as crap. But the side stories are a lot of fun in keeping the tone from getting too dour, which is something Yakuza uses. It's a trick in that only really video games can exploit. Really, when you think about it, like you can tell a tone of a main story at whatever level you want throughout the entire thing without needing to break it up. If the game has a ton of extra side content to do that you can adjust that tone with, because players will usually engage with at least some of it. So that way you're not bogged down with, the dourness of the main story and how dire the situation's getting and how everything's always looking like it's getting worse and worse because this is a hard-boiled detective story. Everything's got to go bad for Yagami until the absolute last second. It's just not a hard-boiled detective story unless it does that. The theme of the game is the most ambitious of any Yakuza game, and you can tell this is the first game that they were letting the writing team just try stuff. Because while the main mystery is good and the characters are good and fun, it has a theme of bullying and bad.
Oh no, bullying.
Hey, you could join my world all of a sudden.
Yeah, I was trying to work out which NPC was causing it to be in story mode, and I eventually found them.
Yeah, so yeah, this school has a bullying problem so bad that the dean, head of the school, hires Yagami to come and help expose the bullying and stop it. And it's apparently been so bad that multiple kids have killed themselves throughout the
this is something that sort of like it's almost starting to recede from Western culture, because in like schools in the West now the problem is like ethnic conflict rather than conventional bullying, because that's where the battle lines are being drawn now in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But in Japan, conventional old school bullying and social ostracism are still like the major melodies.
Yeah, and the Eastern message of the game is very Eastern. It is not that the solution to this is, like it would be in the West, you stand up and you punch the bully in the face. That's the Western solution. No. That's not the Eastern solution. The Eastern solution is you have one guy that is not the bullied target take a stand and begin to ostracize the bullies instead as a collective. It is not going to be relatable to Western fans. You will only know this is normal if you know anything about Eastern culture, and that they would view this as the appropriate course of action. See the comment last week about the first penguin is a thing in America that is often said and held in high regard. So they are really ambitious about it, especially at the start. Eventually, we get into the bigger conspiracy, and the bullying stuff fades into the background. But it stays as the framing for how this all got started in the first place. Because the perpetrator early on, like this case isn't about solving the whodunit. You know that it's more that he has set up such a concrete alibi for himself and already got himself convicted of something else that supposedly happened at the exact same time with video proof, that you can't get him on the murder charge because the police don't want to admit that they screwed up somewhere. So Yagami's got to go and solve the case and figure out how this impossibility happened. And how did he murder somebody and go grope somebody on the train at the same time? Because you can't do both at literally the exact same time when you're hundreds of miles apart.
Not with an attitude like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. This guy found a way to do it. And this was right at the start of like deepfakes and AI. So, and you just know mystery writers are going to hate these things more than anybody else. Because they have to spend
this whole thing is already starting to kick off as just like a major social issue. Like, have you seen the number of like ridiculous reaches that people have been taking lately to try and quote prove unquote that Benjamin Netanyahu is dead.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
Like
Been
it's
following
all
that.
over social media. Like, and the thing is that like the Knesset has a very casual relationship with the truth as it is. So it's entirely plausible that if Benjamin Netanyahu really was dead, that they would in fact fraudulently present that as not being the case. But the thing is that everybody is so paranoid about deepfakes that they keep pointing out like every little sort of the light falls strangely on his hand here that proves that it's AI generated type of thing.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. And if you look at like, because part of the syndrome of having the algorithm think you're interested in gacha games is that occasionally it brushes up against like gacha game fan art, and it's just a huge mess of everybody accusing everybody else of using AI.
Yeah. The paranoia seems to be incredibly real right now. For this game in particular, it came out in 2001, maybe no, I think it was 2001. So we weren't on the full paranoia train like we're at right now, but deepfakes were around then. They had just really gotten moving. Like you remember back in 2020 ish, they had come out with that voice synthesizer thing that was really good at making Alex Jones and Donald Trump say whatever you wanted them to. And anybody, you can make one for anybody if you had enough voice samples for it. But at that time, the public ones needed a truly colossal amount of sample data and had to be hand built for one voice. So that's the level of this kind of stuff we're dealing with in Lost Judgment, and they still have to spend half of a whole chapter ruling out that deepfakes and AI and all that was used. And you just know this is going to be a pain in the butt for mystery writers in the future, because until the advent of modern AI tech, video proof was video proof. But now that anybody can make anything, and if it keeps getting better, that isn't the case anymore.
I mean, this is sort of this has probably always been the case to some extent. It's just a question of how bad. Like, it's something that always comes to mind in a discussion like this is, do you remember that movie, Jumanji?
Yes, the one where the board game came to life.
So, yeah, so it takes place across two time periods, right? The initial playing of the game and the finishing of the game, and so one is like in the 70s and one is in the 90s, and in the 70s one, when they get the game out and they start playing it, and it's like this magic game that sort of can move the pieces itself and so on. The character says, "How's it doing that? It must be magnets or something." And then when they cut to the 90s one, a few scenes later, and it's like, "How is it doing this? It must be microchips or something." It's like the only thing that has changed about the exchange is the technology to blame for it.
Mm-hmm.
The phenomenon is the same. It's just the technology to blame is different.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing an interview with an exorcist once, and the question that inevitably comes up typically when skeptics are interviewing, or people taking the skeptic position interviewing exorcists, is like, "Oh, why don't you just videotape it so people can prove to people that it's real?" And the exorcist will say, "Well, number one, sometimes demons just won't allow that. You'll get nothing but static, and secondly, there are rules against it because it's not going to make any difference because people will just say, oh, it's special effects. They always say that it's special effects. Doesn't matter what happens or how ridiculous it is. It's always just special effects." So yeah, this particular phenomenon, it already exists. I just think we're going to see a really radical intensification of it, and I really don't think that like the legal system has started grappling with it yet in the way that they ought to. And I think that the result is likely to be quite bad because there'll be a knee-jerk reaction to control information instead of, actually devising more concrete methods of ascertaining the veracity of things, it's going to be like, oh, well, I mean, I guess we'll just ban it then. We'll ban it. Banning things solves everything.
That's totally going to stop the criminals from using it.
Yeah, because they obey the law.
Yeah. Remember, when you make a law, the criminals don't care. You make a law to reduce the public law-abiding citizens' access to something. Because the criminals are going to do it anyway. See all gun bans. But anyway, yeah. The other issue that was like this for a while in terms of narrative impact on storytelling was cell phones. I've read multiple interviews with authors that
You say cell phones, do you mean flip phones or smartphones?
I mean any cell phone, any type of cell phone. The advent of the cell phone changed. Smartphones changed it again a little bit, but not to the degree the just raw invention of having a communication device in your pocket did for storytelling.
So you don't mean cell phones. You mean the miniaturized generation of smartphones, cell phones. Because I remember my mother's first cell phone, and you cannot put that in anybody's pocket.
Yeah, they needed to be mainstream enough so that everybody had them, but they did not have to be sophisticated. All that mattered was that everybody had a communication device in their pocket, or could be reasonably expected to have one in a professional sense at least, because it changed the way stories had to be written. Because
that thing was like nearly a kilo, like 2 pounds.
Yeah, yeah. I remember even some of the old brick phones, like your pre-Nokia bricks, were pretty heavy. They were smaller, but they were still chunky boys. But yeah,
I remember the phones that the farmers had were like several kilograms.
Yeah. But yeah, the thing with cell phones was if every character has just a device in their pocket that allows them to send information to literally anybody they want, you have to contrive really stupid reasons for why characters don't have all the information pertinent to what's going on, because if something important happens with one character, they would call and tell everybody else, and you can't set up scenes with people doing different stuff unless you make this a non-issue, because if everybody has the same information, you're not able to build a mystery or character actions around a lack of knowledge.
From a reasonable point of view, that is an issue. Like, I understand that. That's definitely an issue from a writing point of view. But in reality, it tends not to be because people aren't that clever.
That has been the way that some of them get around it. But most of the time, a writer will go out of the way because the audience will go, "Why didn't you just call him?" If you need a character not to have some information that another character has just gotten, and they'll have to go out of their way to have reasons why their cell phone wasn't on them at the time, or they were in an area with no signal. And you just
Which is not really a thing anymore. I don't like in a lot of countries.
Yeah. Well, even in the US is big enough that you can find spots with no signal. Even in my state, I drive through no signal areas.
I would have to try. I'd have to try quite. I'd probably have to go somewhere where the landscape was not suitable to build a tower, like in the Alps or something.
Yeah. If you go like to any of my job sites deep enough underground, you got no signal. We often have to leave the building in Atlanta to go get a signal.
But not every story can take place underground, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's the shoe writers run into, and why it was such a paradigm shift for how people that relied on characters lacking information to set up the drama or the instigate parts of the plot just had to totally rework the way they do things or come up with dumb contrivances. And AI is looking like it's going to have a similar effect, especially on mystery stories, but just on
people have a
storytelling
fairly
in
high
general.
tolerance. People have a fairly high tolerance for that sort of dumb shit. Like the closed circle mystery is essentially that, just such a contrivance, but those have been popular since forever.
Yeah.
So everybody's on an island, or there's a snowstorm outside, or whatever.
Yeah, and all your horror movie plots do it too. There are some genres and story archetypes that people will just totally let it slide because you're buying the ticket to see what happens when you already accept those conditions are in place.
I mean, this is also a reason why the isekai story is popular, because it allows you to sidestep anything you need to sidestep.
Yeah, you can just make up the rules of the world as you need to.
Yeah, let's just skip all the storytelling and all the world building. Let's just do something cool.
Well,
I guess, and that's also that's also sort of like the Harry Potter dodge, right? Technology doesn't work when exposed to magic in a lot of cases.
Yeah, Harry Dresden does it too. Like you just
Dresden at least does something with it as a plot point.
Yeah, at least Butcher's smart enough to bring it up and have it do things more than just make it so Harry can't use a cell phone. Because that's the reason he installed that rule in the universe, so that Dresden didn't have a cell phone.
Yeah, why use magic when phone work?
Yeah, well,
that's it. He still has a rotary phone, so
yeah, but he has to be in a specific location to access that. It's not on him all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah. So AI and deepfakes even now, in the time this game came out, were already issue. And if they try to make any more mystery games nowadays, I'm worried how silly we're gonna have to get to assure the audience it's not AI, because it took half a chapter for them to feel they were satisfied in proving that the video, or coming to the conclusion the video wasn't AI, CG, deepfake, etc. So yeah, but yeah, otherwise the main story has been pretty good the whole way through. I think the first one had a bit of a better clip the whole way through, and felt a little bit better. But this one's still really good, and the raw base gameplay continues to get better. The 4 styles Yagami has are all a ton of fun. I've now got the ability to carry their buffs between styles, so you rapidly swapping styles to change up your moveset and what you do really gives it a nice action game flow without overwhelming you, because you unlock it so slowly and piecemeal. But yeah, I really am enjoying Lost Judgment. And, aside from the collectible metrics that are, go stand around, do nothing for, a couple hours, I've had a lot of fun going around and completing all the minigames and stuff. But then again, I don't have an aversion to Mahjong, and that is a thing. And it's not a little bit of Mahjong either. But if you did, you could go grind up 30,000 SP and buy the 9 gates tile cheat item that'll just instantly give you 9 gates, and use it on all but one of the tables. And it'll guarantee you a win. A win for the whole match, not just the round, because that's a turn 1 natural Yakuman that it gives you. That literally deletes every other player's entire stock of points, so the game can't continue. So there is that. But yeah, I just had a lot of fun with it. All the mini games that came from Judgment that had a few issues, like the drone races before, could be a little too tight for being just a mini game. I felt they've loosened up the restrictions for completing that and getting all the time trials done and winning the Grand Prix. And they've made it so you can just restart races without losing progress in the Grand Prix, because one of the completion metrics is carried over is get first place in the final Grand Prix, which is all 10 tracks back to back to back, all in the hardest difficulty. This was a pain in the butt. The last game let you leave at any time after you completed a race and go back to the to outside the race and save, and then resume without any penalty. But if you did lose a race, you had to pause the game when you lost the race, exit the title screen, wait for the logos in the loading screen, load back into the game, wait for the logos in the loading screen, go talk to the race kiosk, wait for the race to load back up, and then resume racing. This was like a whole minute-long process. In this one, in addition to the hardest difficulty not being as bad as it was in the first Judgment, you just can press select and hit restart, and there's no penalty for ever doing so. So they're like, okay, this achievement metric is so ridiculous that we know people are just going to save scum it, so we're just going to let you restart. and I'm glad they did that. It made the drones go from a 5 or 6 hour affair to a like 1 or 2, and the drones are just not interesting enough to go past that. So I'm quite glad that they cut that down. And yeah, I've been having fun with it. The school stories are still ridiculous. They're all wildly different in tone. The boxing story has actually been really good. The rules of the minigame make no sense, but it's a whole lot of fun. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's cool to get upgrades in it and hit harder. And it's fun to take the moves you learn out into the overworld version of the fighting style that you get. So
you haven't answered the most important question.
Mm-hmm.
Is Giant Impact still in the game?
Ryan, the Turbo Weeb Ninja, believe it! Exclamation point. Has hinted that he is working with Giant Impact in Kamurocho, and there's a part 2 to that quest I haven't unlocked yet.
It's going to be terrible, isn't it?
Why?
He has started his own ninja dojo that is a rival to the dojo of... Oh, he has the most ridiculous over-the-top Russian name you've ever heard in your life. Let me find it. I mean, like, his last name's Kalashnikov.
Oh, dear. Yeah, you're not even trying to hide it at that point, are you? Oh, Yakuza.
But why would you need to work with Giant Impact?
Okay, I'll just put... I can't. Too American to say that name.
Let's see how bad this is.
Borscht Kalashnikov. Is it borscht that boiled dish they make?
It's a cold stew.
It's like it's stew, Russian stew.
Cold beetroot stew. So yeah, he's named after a stew and a gun.
Yeah, and that's Yagami's response at the end of that whole conversation. And
oh dear,
that is a quest. It turned out the entire reason that Mr. Kalashnikov was stealing his students is because he has a really hot sister that has essence of sexy cosplay.
I mean, yeah, okay. Does it do exactly what it sounds like?
Yes.
Dear.
His sister seems to be a retard and is just going along with her brother's insane ninja bit and just having fun with it. And he appears to be completely unaware that every single person that has joined his school is there because they sent for his sister.
I see. But where does Giant Impact come into all of this?
I don't know yet. That's in the next part of the quest. I haven't got that far yet. I gotta actually make story progress to get through side cases. But I've been doing all the miscellaneous minigame crap. But yeah, it's been a ton of fun. I've liked most of the side cases. A few of them have been... there's always a few, not duds, but just kind of, you can take it or leave it side quests. There's one side quest that is just one of the developers must have got thrown on the writing team for a day and just complaining about publishers and how unreasonable their demands are, and they portray the publisher for the video game as this giant bear Yakuza looking man who assures you he's just a civilian. It's like, okay, guys. So yeah. And that's been where I'm at there. I'll probably have it done by the end of this week. I want to make some good story progress. After the show, probably if I don't pass out right after the show later tonight and tomorrow, and I'll hopefully be able to wrap it up and give you a full final verdict. But it's looking good. The only thing that's worse than Judgment 1 is the main story's a little bit weaker, but it ain't by much. It's only
There's still time for that to change, surely.
yeah, and the ending is worth a lot of points with me. So if they really stick the ending, that's why I rate Judgment 1 so good. I thought it stuck its ending perfectly well.
Even if you were subjected to the scrotum totem in the meantime.
Oh, that was a side quest, so that doesn't go in the main story metric rating. But yeah,
Why the scrotum totem?
you're gonna bask in the glory of his scrotum totem. Is what he tells you. It's even more
Like
ridiculous.
he's standing. Yeah, the screenshot you've been throwing around has possibly the absolute worst case screenshot you can imagine for a statement like that.
Oh, don't worry. I haven't spoiled the twist of that quest in Giant Impact for you in case you decide to play the game.
Oh no.
It gets even more ridiculous.
That guy, ridiculous is one thing. That guy belongs in jail. Like now.
The guy crawling around on the wall like a bug was ridiculous enough as it is.
Yes.
Yeah, you had to shoot him down with the drone.
Don't ever change, Yakuza. We love you.
Yeah. I've seen one of the DLC case names as a that appears to be a successor to this one. I got the DLC pack with the game, obviously, because I usually buy these games in full if the DLC is substantial enough. And this one had a bunch of post-release content that on the PC version, most of it comes packaged with the game by itself. You don't actually have to buy the DLC to get it. But like
That's nice.
But you do a bunch of stuff still is in the DLC, and it's not insubstantial stuff. It's you get a whole campaign where you play as Kaito. That's how you select from the main menu. It's apparently like 10 hours long, so it's pretty chunky content. You get the extra girlfriends in that DLC. That includes the Camelot girl, and there are a lot of extra side cases that are put into the game as well that probably account for like at least 4 or 5 more hours just to do because they're fun. So if you're gonna pick up the game, scoop the DLC and get the bundle deal. They're usually bundled for a pretty good deal when they're together. So it's worth it just to scoop it if it's on sale. I don't think the first Judgment. I think all the DLC for the first Judgment is baked into the PC release. Because the PC release came so much later, where we effectively have the Game of the Year edition as the only option, or whatever the equivalent was for this one. So yeah. Right. I already mentioned how my feed is just full of. I don't think I mentioned it on the show. My feed has been just full of Phoebe AI slop for non-Yakuza content. Because YouTube has really started pushing the shorts lately, and it has decided that you main Phoebe. Guess who's popular right now on shorts? AI slop PB videos.
Yeah. Someone out there is mass producing those chibi gacha AI videos.
I mean, Phoebe getting mad because she got thrown in the bathtub for bath time is funny, and it does give us the angriest Phoebe choopy that you've ever heard in your life. But
Well, the thing is, that I've heard that these videos of not just Phoebe specifically, but of the gacha characters in general, have become sort of like a niche viral popularity amongst like the TikTok scrolling Gen Alphas who have literally no idea who these characters are. It's just a meme to them.
yeah,
It's like cute little character does cute little things.
like yeah,
Yeah, because I remember seeing some posts on the Twitter from some like parents of Gen Alphas who are like trying to explain who the character is because they play the gacha or whatever, and the kid's like, "What? What are you talking about? I don't understand."
I too had this conversation with the Zoomer in my life, where I mentioned that because I play this character, I think YouTube's just recommending me all this slop. He's like, "Oh no, I've seen that girl before." He's looking at Peeb. I'm like, "What?" So yes, that I can corroborate with anecdote that is happening. So there's been that. Because there's a lot of stuff where I don't really want the background on music on in Yakuza, like when I'm playing mahjong. I'd rather listen to something while I'm playing mahjong. Um, I actually paid for a subscription to a one of the many, you know, non-mainstream internetosphere content producers out there, and it's not one of the really popular ones, but it is one that has one really popular content creator on it and a bunch of his buddies. And I've been watching a ton of his crap lately, so I went ahead and paid for Pepperbox TV to get access to all the extra Fat Electrician content because I've just really enjoyed listening to his crap in the background. He's a really good storyteller for American military stories. It's just the perfect background noise with long form content for me. And goodness knows that stuff is getting harder and harder to find on YouTube. And YouTube's the closest thing to social media I use. And I used to use it to try and fish up long form content to listen to or watch in the background, or sometimes watch actively if it was interesting enough. But that crap's just dead or dying. People don't do it anymore, man.
No, they do. You just probably aren't looking in the right places because I don't have any shortage of it. Like, I mean, it's true that I do have a subscription to Lotus Eaters, I never actually listen to any of their premium contents. As I don't have time. I support them because I listen to their free content constantly. But in terms of like just background, there's like I don't have any shortage of it. I usually put on like theological topics and that sort of thing. And then the people will talk for hours about those things. So the content does exist, but it's not necessarily going to be like if it's mostly you're looking for stuff on topics that are of most interest to the attention span impaired generation, then you're definitely not going to get long form stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I just remember when I could pick any video game out there and just search for it in the search on YouTube, and with minimal scrolling, I would find people that had put together, hour-plus long videos, and it didn't take long.
You would find Vati.
Yeah, well, Vati's a very special case. And it didn't take long for you to get past the amateur philosophers and get through that crap and get to actual content where people are actually just taking a look at what's there and talking about either the nuts and bolts of it or what they liked and disliked. I'm like, okay, I can listen to that. But it's getting harder and harder to find that for entertainment stuff.
Well, there's not really any good reason for people to make it if they are trying to, the reason I can find theological stuff usually is because the people making it are just looking to provide that information. But that's not the main motivation for people making YouTube videos these days, providing information. It's getting clicks. And the algorithm will simply not allow you to get clicks if your content takes too long.
Yeah. So yeah. Been enjoying having that on in the background. Probably won't keep the subscription active very, very long because he doesn't have that much extra content there. But it's I really enjoy his military history videos. He gets a solid recommendation. The chubby, if you have not watched him before and you want to see the best storyteller for American military history, go watch the chubby electron guy.
There is only one American military history story that you need to check, which is, what is this particular commentator's opinion on Fort Sumter?
Don't know if he's done that one.
It's only like the single most important military event that ever took place on American soil.
Yeah. Let's see.
Which might be why he hasn't covered it.
He's probably the YouTube immediately started autoplaying that.
Dead air.
Yep, dead air. I'll search that later to see if he's done one. But yeah. So yeah. Other than that, the only thing left for my week is I was going to do some YOLO pulls on stream for Sigrika.
Well, you don't have to. You might decide one way or another after playing the story.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you think it's worth doing? Because I find her English voice actress incredibly obnoxious. Like,
Yeah.
I can't stand it. Like, that voice is horrible. If you're gonna play in English, then you definitely won't want to.
The other thing on her banner, that's a baller 4-star lineup.
It is definitely. I was like, how do I resist? No, I must. I don't have enough resources because I want both Hiyuki and Danya. So
Yeah.
every time that there's a really, really good 4-star lineup, it's on a banner that I can't afford to pull on.
I really could use more Booling constellations. I don't think my Son was maxed out either.
I need all of those constellations, but I just have to grit my teeth. Grit my teeth. Eventually I'll get them. Eventually.
I think my Booling's at C1 something.
Yeah, I don't need to build Booling, but I feel like I probably will, simply because she's such a likable character, and her combat animations is just really impressive. Like, this is a 4-star character and they just really went to town on it. This is such a thematically strong character as well. Like, the whole reusing a bubblegum case as a thing for dispensing talismans from, and that sort of thing.
Booling is forever associated with me with that meme of
Which meme?
don't blame yourself and others. Learn feng shui and blame the furniture.
Well, it is how the opossum do, so.
So yeah, that's all I got. You wanna take us to your weekend then into gachas?
Okay, I don't have that much to talk about this week. But I've said that before. Yeah, so my week, the first half of my week was taken up with like relentless flailing about at high speed. I had to travel across the country some 1,000 kilometers or so for to sit to the head lab in Auckland to ostensibly learn some things that I'm supposed to import into my lab, but the whole affair seemed very questionable to me. Like, they clearly not thought it through. They just handed instructions down. And some of the stuff, oh, okay, so this can be implemented. I can see how we can do that. We have the skills on site. We have the equipment on site. We have the know-how on site. It's just a matter of cracking the validation, collecting the data, getting it approved, etc. It's all doable. It's just time consuming. But the other half of it was just a nightmare. Like, this is the old ELISA method. It's messy. It's prone to contamination. It takes literally all day just to do a dozen samples. It's not going to make money like that. The whole thing is a terrible idea. But if you live in spreadsheet land, all you see is, oh wow, you can make that much money for that few samples. We'll do that one. Never mind the, $70,000 worth of equipment that are needed to do it, that have to then be reserved for that and can't be repurposed for anything else. It's just a complete lack of understanding, lack of foresight. But this is the corporate world for you. The bosses only think that they know everything. So yeah, I was sick still when I started traveling, and it set my recovery back a few days. So overall, it was not a very pleasant trip, and I think I ate once. I just didn't have time for anything. I was tired all the time, and I was sick all the time. It was just horrible. So the result of that, basically, when I still had to come back and continue working for the rest of the week, when we were short on staff, meaning I had way more work to do than normal, like, it was a rough week, and by the end of the week, I was completely shattered, and so I haven't had time for anything, basically. As far as gameplay is concerned, it was basically the only thing I could do was dailies, because I didn't have the energy to engage with anything in greater depth. So, in a sense, dailies were actually helpful because they let my brain decompress a bit and keep my hands and eyes occupied briefly in the evenings for 15 or 30 minutes before passing out cold. But yeah, so in terms of actually game content, I only had time to sort of start the current chapter from Wua. So far it's been quite low key, but not necessarily in a bad way. Like Ameth's story was kind of like a Hollywood blockbuster story, whereas this is a much more low key human story so far. The story with Sigrika it's much it's much more about relatable topics, particularly for students, especially if you were a student who was relatively high achieving at some level. It's a much more human sort of story, much more accessible. Most people can't relate to Ameth being a digital ghost for 20 years. But most people did go to school, so can relate with the story a little bit better. So yeah, I don't know where exactly they're going or how they'll stick the landing, but I have enjoyed it. It's a lot more low key. They have spent a lot of they've spent sort of like, if you don't know about the leaks, if you don't know that Danya's coming as a playable character, then you will certainly have picked it up by the time you've spent any time with the story, because she has a significantly higher model quality than all of the other students, and it gets a disproportionate amount of screen time. She also seems like she's probably a baddie. Like, most of the things she says are not the sorts of things you associate normally with a friendly character. But she's not really an overtly hostile character either, and her energy level is sort of like Hoshino from Blue Archive. She does not seem to have much interest in being very active. But yeah, if in fact she is a baddie, she is an antagonist of some kind, I feel bad for Sigrika because she's just not very good at picking friends. It's as so it seems. But yeah. I'll just have to wait and see how the story goes, because I haven't really had time to really, invest myself in it. Other gachas, there is not a lot going on. There is nominally like one of those, like, looks like probably a photography event or something going on in Genshin, but I haven't touched it because I just haven't had the time, let alone the energy. Hopefully I can polish that one off quickly before it expires, because it's a short event that's nearly over, and then we'll be back to the usual Genshin pattern of there being literally nothing to do in that game. Star Rail, again, I haven't really touched it. There's a new Apocalyptic Shadow up. I haven't tried it, haven't had time. And the word coming out of there is that in the next patch, they're going to merge the reward tracks for Divergent Universe and Currency Wars, along with the introduction of the new Divergent Universe. So that will streamline it such that you can just do what you want to do instead of having to do what the game tells you to do. Because there are some people who just, they don't have any interest in Divergent Universe, but they love playing Currency Wars. I guess maybe they made Currency Wars a bit too easy, though, because the hype around it has died off, largely because the people who were into it just did nothing but. And I think that this is an inevitable thing that I remember seeing a lot in Final Fantasy, where people would clear all of the available content in the first week and then spend the rest of the patch cycle whinging that there was nothing to do. Well, Currency Wars has been cleared by most people who aren't playing at a normal pace, like normal people, so updates to it don't seem to garner much hype anymore. But I still enjoy it, so I'll be happy to spend more time working on my promotions there rather than doing Divergent Universe, except that Divergent Universe is being reset and turned into Aha's version of Divergent Universe, so I'll have to dabble in that and see how that goes. They are also, there's a bunch of rumors floating around for Star Rail. No real new rumors for Genshin, actually, before I move away from that topic entirely. The closed beta has been around for 4 or 5 versions now, and there were no changes to Linnea throughout all of those versions. So they must have just landed her in the right spot that they're happy with. Just haven't amended anything. I still haven't even managed to put together the gear set I want for Columbina, though, despite the fact that I still do the relic domain every day. So, yeah, don't know how long it's going to take me to gear Linnea. Okay, Star Rail, since 4.1 is about to hit live, 4.2 is in closed beta, and there's heaps of Doom posting because it's a Star Rail beta, and Doom posting is what people do. But they have interesting things that are in great demand, such as being able to save relic loadouts, which is going to be, if they manage to implement it correctly, is going to be a godsend for a lot of people. The idea of having loadouts for your relics and artifacts is something that every single gacha game in the Hoyo stable gets demands from people for every single time there's a feedback form available, and none of them have ever done it before. So we'll have to, once one of them does it, in this case Star Rail seems to be interested in cracking that can of worms open, all of the others will basically be forced to follow suit, or they'll be that guy. So, although I would have thought that about Overflow Resin as well, and that doesn't seem to have taken. In fact, they're doing everything but. Anyway, so yeah, 4.1 is coming out, and I'm at this point completely unsure what the power level of Ashval is, because he's been Doom posted into the ground, and he's definitely less powerful than he was at the start of closed beta. But how powerful he was at the start of closed beta was like game-breakingly so. He would have been the most powerful DPS in the game by a country mile, which is why they tuned him back. He would be able to zero cycle things solo. So yeah. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes. It's a short patch. The 4.2 stuff, on the other hand, the kits are in the wild for Silverwolf 999 and for Evanesia. The power levels of them are a bit, they're likely to go up and down a bit, I think, before they land correctly, because Silverwolf is not currently sitting in a very good place for a anniversary push. Her performance seems to be, number one, it's completely shackled to having Sparkle as a sub DPS, but number two, that team doesn't allow for the present Sparksy as a sub DPS, but that number two, that team doesn't allow for the Sparkle slot very comfortably at present, because it also wants Yao Guang. And Evanesia has problems as well, in that number one, she's basically launching into a vacuum almost, and number two, she also wants Yao Guang. So the layout at present for the two Elation teams mentioned by Serethus in his email, one of them is Silverwolf, Sparksy, Yao Guang, Sustain, and the other one is Evanesia, Elation Trailblazer, Yao Guang, Sustain. So there's only one Yao Guang, and it's going to have to go somewhere. Evanesia is more compatible than Silverwolf with random supports, probably. In fact, a lot of people have commented her kit seems like Elation is almost an afterthought to it. Like she seems to have weird mechanics that are based mostly around the certified banger buff rather than the punchline buff. So where like Sparksy, for instance, works entirely on the basis of punchlines, and Silverwolf uses punchline generation as part of her mechanics. Evanesia, by contrast, is really only interested in the aftermath of the aha instant, when the punchlines get turned into certified banger. So her mechanic seems kind of static, and her kit seems kind of bland in some ways. That could well be because there are supposed to be supports that mesh with her that don't exist yet. But yeah, it's not really clear what she's for per se, what makes that team unique or special. And I have seen people manage to zero cycle with the Evanesia Super Break meme team simply because you can. because she doesn't lean hard enough into Elation for it to matter if she's not on an Elation team. You can just build her for use with something else, which could be a good thing or a bad thing. Silverwolf, on the other hand, has some fairly concrete mechanics. She does function like an Elation character. Everything is based around punchline generation and so on and so forth. So her kit makes a lot more sense. It's just the power level is kind of iffy because they have built her to be on a team with another DPS, so that kind of prevents her from standing out to a certain extent, which is sort of, I presume, why Evernight and Castorus were separated by so much time, was so that Castorus was able to cement a position as being sort of like genuinely really hefty and powerful before Evernight comes along and the power for that whole team ends up divided. But in this case, you've got Silverwolf and you've got Sparksy right from the get-go. So, yeah. Speculating about the future meta is basically impossible to do at this stage because people don't really know where they're planning to go long term with the Elation meta. But 2 Elation teams does look like the shape of things going forward. Elation Trailblazer looks like it's going the sub DPS route. There's like a sort of a reasonable mix of buffs for Elation teams and of DPS, so sort of in the same vector as Remembrance Trailblazer, where you're sort of like a semi-support that does damage, that moonlights as a damage dealer, but maybe a little bit inverted, maybe a little bit more weighted towards damage and away from support, but still sort of trying to fulfill both roles. And yes, they are lightsabers. Yes, they are also glow sticks. Yes, they are, it turns out, nunchucks. Because reasons. Just Trailblazer things. But yeah, so that's it's shaping up interestingly as far as that's concerned, but there's not a huge amount of other information available. So supposedly there's going to be like a co-op PvE version of the Cosmicon Collective dice game, and there have been screenshots that have been leaked of an interface to visit the other players on your friends list's Astral Express, just to sort of hang out. Seems like basically a multiplayer netcode testing thing, since they have thus far kept multiplayer reserved entirely to very narrow frameworks of minigames, rather than actually visiting another character's world. It seems like they didn't really build much facility into the game to do that originally, so it requires kind of extensive testing. And I mean, even in the case of ZZZ, we know that they did build co-op in originally, but then scrapped it because it just wasn't doing what they wanted, and it's taking them quite a bit of time to work it back in. So, but yeah, looks like it's going to be a rather low-key patch. The trailer for Ashvale is extremely heavy on the heavy metal and the sort of horror theming, but it does have, like, the horror theming of it does have kind of a Dingle Rumpus tone to it, but I guess that's because we're primed to see it that way now to some extent. But yeah, there's also a rumor floating around that there's going to be a new Remembrance character come out at some point in the future versions of this sort of Plan Arcadia chapter of the story, and it's going to be one of the Sustains. It's a very, very unconfirmed rumor, though, in my opinion, compared to others. So yeah, that's that. Moving on to ZZZ, swiftly on to ZZZ. ZZZ, we're about to see the next version drop, right?
Yeah, this week.
Right. And that will be dropping the best of the Angels, Nangong. Obviously the best, because it's the one that I like. And then in the next part, Miss Hiss, as the promo code goes, the useless girl failure snake theorem. Don't really know the story other than it's about this competition that has been in-game advertised in the in Luminous Square for the past half a version. Don't really know what's going on there. Kind of interesting. They more or less have settled on the power levels of the kits for Sisia and Nangong. Nangong is a incredibly powerful force multiplier as things have come down, but has hard to say how applicable she is to teams other than relatively orthodox anomaly teams. I'm sure people will find gimmick teams that would use her real well, but mostly she's built for anomaly.
The important thing is that her Angels of Delusion team attack ends with all the girls plopped on the ground. If you have the full team.
Yes, I do not think that I am going to shoot for the full team this time, because it's more important to me that I be able to get a hold of Nangong than it is for me to just gamble on that I can somehow get all three. But we'll see how things go. It's not like they won't have reruns. Nobody's really talking about Sisia post beta. I guess that's probably because people just aren't really sure how she will play out in practice. But yeah. The interesting thing about the data mining is that there's going to be a new boss that has wind as one of its weaknesses. And wind is not an element that made it to live. And it does seem like it's been redesigned since it was in the original pre-launch beta. But there aren't any wind characters slated yet that I have seen. The leaked shots from beta show that Promea is Ice Anomaly, and the leaked kit also shows that she is Ice Anomaly. However, her leaked kit also includes special interaction descriptions with things that are afflicted by Wind Anomaly. Leaked data shows that Wind Anomaly is not like the other ones. It's sort of in the way that Pesh Elements and Swirl work differently. In that wind is going to be something that once something suffers from the wind erosion state as a result of triggering a wind anomaly, it will then add sort of like kit relevant modifiers to subsequently applied anomalies from other elements instead of just directly causing disorder. That seems to be the implication, but the details are kind of difficult to nail down right now. It's a bit early. As usual, and as it has been the case for practically every patch since the version started, there is a certain cadre of people who are betting the farm on 5-star Billy. Yeah, they're betting the farm on 5-star Billy again to launch with this wind system. I don't know that that's going to work out for them. I assume that they're going to work wind into one of the sort of the major characters that they have shown so far. So since Promea is probably going to be Anomaly Ice, I'm expecting one of those two other characters that appeared in the very end of the current patch are going to be a wind character or some such. But yeah, it can't be too far off since Promea's kit does have wind interactions baked into it. But other than that, I can't really say very much about her kit now because it's still a bit words, and words is bad enough as it is for Ho-Oh games without it also being riddled with mistakes, which is where we're currently sitting.
Speaking of, Whoa gives you 100% speed buff.
Yeah, nah. If you look at those leaked kits, the English one appears to have been written by an illiterate because the Korean, Chinese, Japanese versions of the leaks all match, and the English ones are different.
Nah, she's gonna give 100% speed buff.
I mean, maybe. It seems like Huawei is powerful enough already.
I mean, they're giving her when she didn't need it the echo or the whatever they call it burst anyway. So yeah, she's just gonna give you 100% speed.
I think it is quite unlikely that is correct, but it is what it is. We'll see. I'm actually a little bit nettled that they gave Firefly a Nova Flare so soon. I would have preferred that they waited until she fell off a bit. And when I think about that logically, that suggests to me that Firefly will get they will get an SP version, maybe in the next major version or something like that. So they aren't planning to shore her up for too long, because she is like the headliner for Super Break. There's no Super Break DPS as powerful as her currently. Like, Boot Hill is good and Rapper is decent, but Firefly is the champion of Super Break damage. And keeping the archetype relevant is tied very much to keeping Firefly relevant in a lot of ways, and certainly for the largest single chunk of players who use Super Break. So that's probably why they've given her a bit of a tune-up, even though she didn't really need it. Like, Firefly's power level is still more than enough to clear. She's just got a couple of residual issues in her kit that they're cleaning up, like her being a blast character who, for some reason, has a single target weakness infliction baked into her kit with a toughness reduction on the blast anyway, which doesn't make any sense. So there are this weird things like that they seem to be amending. Basically anything that they couldn't fix with Constance, they're fixing with this Nova Flare to make sure that she's got sort of modern interactions with the mechanics. But they're also just giving her a numbers tune-up, which kind of made my jaw drop. Because raw output numbers, since Constance came out, has never been Firefly's problem. Like, she does numbers. And I guess they just want her stonks to be even higher. Okay. If that's how you really want it, I guess I can deal with that. Mostly, though, what the numbers do is not really make her stronger. Most of the numbers tune-ups just make it easier for her to hit her breakpoints without needing near perfect gear drops, which has been the problem historically. Like, you just need extremely good specific gear rolls and spending a lot of time in the Mammoth Mines in order to actually get the gear that she needs. So, and the other thing, I guess, is that Super Break gear is always thin on the ground because every member of a Super Break team needs the same set. So you just have to gear the same character over and over. Relevant to that, though, there is a reasonably concrete rumor floating around that in 4.2 there will be another one of those rounds of iterative gear development events where you open tons of boxes and you keep the best piece of gear.
Oh, another Sacerdote set then.
Yeah, if that's what you need, then yeah. I'm thinking, like, because there's gone.
I've run that Sacerdote mine easily 2 or 3 times as much as the second most one, and I have 1.5 sets that are workable for the characters that need. It is the meanest set. It doesn't feel quite as bad when it fails as the Quantum set with speed, but or not Quantum set, the Tribi set. But the Sacerdote just seems exceptionally mean.
The odds on it are, in theory, based on data collections, not any different to any other set. I think it's probably just that everybody building Sacerdote, number one, you need to have speed on the piece, otherwise it's not worth as much. And number two, virtually everybody who wears it also wants crit damage. So you've sort of got a 2-stat minimum to keep the piece relevant before you even look at what the other stats are.
And during the Remembrance era, they wanted HP on it as well.
But yeah, Sacerdote is Sakados is cruel, although I've just been in the Magical Girl mines myself because I still can't get any decent pieces for it. I've rolled on several pieces to try and improve my Sparksy set, but I just keep rolling everything into flat defense. Like, why? Why are you like this? Anyway, I don't remember for sure. There is a new Planet Ornament set coming out in 4.1 next week, I presume that is. But I don't know. There have not been any information come out on if there is a new relic set in 4.2. I'm kind of inclined to think that there will be, but there may or may not be. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. Anyway, I don't think there's anything else from the Hoyo department that were leaks that I particularly wanted to talk about that are going to shape things going forward. So there are a few leaks out in the wild, but nothing particularly concrete, really. There's still bits and pieces dribbling out about Hiyuki, although most of them are highly unreliable. And like, despite the fact that now Danya's appeared in game as a character, we still don't have any further information on her what she does or anything like that. Like, they've managed to keep completely silent on that, which is kind of bewildering that they've been so quiet about it. Normally leaks at least a little bit would have come out by now, but yeah, I'm not sure quite what's going on there. I don't think that I've seen any. There's heaps of like rumors, like that there's going to be another child character in Mingzhou when the Mingzhou chapter is running. Mingzhou being the capital of Wanglong, and the presumptive venue for where we're going to get the new Yang Yang, the 5-star Yang Yang. But there's not been really any concrete rumors. Like, they're just all at the level of reportedly this is going to be the case in the next version type of thing. Every time a new character comes out these days, there's always a quote rumor unquote that the new character is going to have 2 forms, and then somebody will start circulating AI images of what they think the second form is going to look like, and then this will get recirculated as a leak. So leaks are becoming, if they were unreliable before, in the era of AI art, they have become even less reliable somehow. So yeah. There are some renders of Danya's quote second form unquote that are circulating, but it seems more like a palette change for the most part as part of her kit, which would be way less remarkable. Like, the model looks more or less the same. It's just the texturing that's changed a bit. But as far as Hiyuki's supposed second form goes, I've only seen incredibly sketchy art that looks like it was cooked up using her base art plus Rukia's Bankai. So it's sort of hard to tell whether or not this was just cooked up by somebody. Yeah. Anyway, I don't think that there's anything much else circulating that kind of raises to the level of concrete. Like, the most prolific leaker is Salo Leaks, but Salo Leaks has had the biggest fumbles of late compared to all of the other leakers, and so it's all, everything that comes from that particular venue is like highly sus at this point. People don't trust it anymore because the fumbles have been too big. But because it's the most prolific and people like to scrabble for crumbs, they still get attention. So yeah, sort of hard to say. I think it's quite probable that we're going to be smashing up against the Cyberpunk crossover pretty shortly, probably the next version. I think it's probably going to be then. I think the database doesn't really support there being another version in between. So probably 3.4. So we'll see a preview during 3.3 about it, I would guess. But yeah, that's about it for news on that front, I think. I am deeply resentful of the fact that two characters that I really, really want are both in the same patch, as it keeps happening. But them's the breaks. Danya is also a pink woman, so since I appear to be collecting them, I guess I've got to pull her.
Yellow Temple, go!
Oh boy, here we go. Is he going to get it?
Oh, it's a purple.
Oh, purple. Well, at least the 4 stars are good, right?
Hey, it's Booling.
Can't never have too many Boolings. Oh, Booling is the one that you said has the rather jank accent in English, right?
Oh, yeah, the Vietnamese prostitute. The Full Metal Jacket Vietnamese prostitute girl.
What a terrible thing to find yourself known as.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway,
Sakuraga's cute. She just her voice acting aside, the problem with going hard for Sakurika, because I functionally have to start building a new team from scratch now. Because my teams currently have all the characters they want. I mean, I could get Chisa if I really wanted to min max the cartwheel team or the Peeb team, but it's not that big of a jump. And like I want to get Lene just because she's a tune break option. But and I like her character and her.
She's also just like a really good. She's also just a really good all-purpose sub DPS. Like, yeah. When you start a new team, you're going to have to pull a DPS at some point, and if the DPS is the first one you pull, you're going to need to support her with something.
Yeah, and then Lene seems like
Lene can do that.
A good sticker in the second slaughter. And like I like Sagrika's animations. She's really cute, and she looks really happy. But number 1, she's Arrow, and I already got the cartwheel team. Number 2, she's Echo Damage, and I already got the Galbrana team.
And her best support is the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really sure where we're at with Echo Damage. To be fair, though, her damage is much like Galbrana. Her damage is so high that it almost doesn't matter that she's Echo Damage in some respects.
Yeah.
So she would just end up being another Aero Damage.
And Cartwheel and her Bard do that job just fine.
But I have even less to support her with than you do, and I'm desperately trying to scramble for enough resources to be able to pull 2 characters next patch, so yeah. Unfortunately, pulling this patch at all is a no-go.
Yeah, I bought that big chunk of gems thinking somebody would come out that I could start building a team with, but I got the surprise Lupa, and that kind of put the full stop on a lot of pull plans, because that suddenly got the Galbrana team to, that'll work. So now I'm just either stuck in saving mode, waiting for Lucilla and hoping she fits on a team or can start a new team.
And it's time for Teemu Sephiroth.
Or blow it all on Peeb.
No, it's time for you to make the ultimate Teemu Sephiroth team.
Oh, he'll come eventually anyway.
No, I mean, like, you need to work on making him like credible somehow.
I mean,
I don't know, is that even possible?
No. Have you seen how much the enemies zip around now? You're not landing a full combo in his ultimate on that. You're nuts. Sonny has trouble hitting the current enemies that zip around so much. You think Teemu Sephiroth can?
Well, I don't intend to play him, so I don't really know. I did try in the practice mode, and it does seem incredibly jank and not really reasonable to do in most circumstances. But I don't know, maybe they'll do a static wall boss or something. Doesn't seem very likely.
If it doesn't hit back, because remember, if he dodges, it breaks the combo too.
Which is ridiculous. I don't understand why they don't just pretend that was a bug and fix it.
Like that Galbrina has it explicitly built into her kit that when she dodges, it doesn't reset to avoid this problem. And they make her track and zip with her kick that shatters the world at the very end of it.
The poor guy didn't even get to be in the story first.
No, he got stuck in Peaks of Prestige.
I mean, I presume he did appear in like earlier events that we weren't in, like the Lunar New Year one and that sort of thing.
Oh, he got billing in the Peeb song during the last year's anniversary. He got the maracas.
I see.
Remember?
He got maracas.
Carlotta handed it the maracas in her incredibly short stature.
Stop making fun of Carlotta's height.
Peepee choopy.
Everybody keeps calling her Small Lotta Montini.
Support small creators.
Anyway, that's it.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to stick on it. We'll go fishing for the 4 stars again. One more temple. Actually, kind of hoping I lose the 50-50 if I get it. No, just purple. All right.
Because you want to get the lost one out of the way.
Yeah. Oh, another Booling.
You got to get that Teemo Sephiroth.
Okay, I got Booling, Dungeon, and Asanwa. Wow.
Heaps of free coral.
Yep. Did not need the dungeon, but I'll take the other 2. Booling.
I've got coral sitting there, so whoever is my next character that I really want to build is going to be quite blessed because I've just got 366 coral rotting currently.
How much coral I got? I got 216. Not enough for a big wave band, but if I was to go full retard on Peeb, I could get 1 with the coral.
Is that just going to be your strategy? Just don't spend coral on new characters. Just keep all your coral dedicated to the almighty Peeb.
This is a legitimate strat.
So eventually, if she comes around enough for enough reruns,
we'll be able to... Oh, I haven't bought the baby coral free pulls. Seven standard banner pulls, 1 at a time. Junk.
You really need another Teemo Sephiroth.
Yep, well, we're gonna see it live on air. Oh.
How many Teemo Sephiroths have you got?
4. I've gotten 3 Tiger Boys.
What is my Teemo Sephiroth is at sequence 2. So I've gotten 3 Teemo Sephiroths.
Pretty sure mine's at S3.
Ling Yang is at sequence 1.
My Teemu Sephiroth's at S3. Oh wow, I forgot. My Ling Yang's at S4.
You got Ling Yanged repeatedly.
Yeah.
Huh, my Encore's at sequence 2 as well.
I think my Encore's at sequence...
I didn't even realize.
Yeah, my Encore's sequence 2. And the rest are all sequence permanents, and I don't have fucking the one that I actually need. Any of Verena's.
I only have sequence 1 of Lumi. This is terrible.
Oh no, what's my Lumi at? My Lumi might be maxed. I think she was on a banner I pulled on. Me, where are you? Way down there.
Why is my Yoo-Hoo maxed?
She was on one of the banners recently. My Lumi's at S4. My Yoo-Hoo is also maxed.
Anyway, moving on. Where are we moving on to?
That's the end of weeks in Gacha. So we're on to the GNUs.
What shall we talk about?
Well, there's only one piece of GNUs everybody's talking about. Was kind of wondering if Firm would get back for it because he seemed gung-ho to talk about it, but I don't know how.
DLSS 5.
Yeah. But, like, this is the only thing I've seen penetrate my feed, and it's been everybody dunking on NVIDIA. It looks
horrifying.
Yeah. You know how AI slop has that oily look to it? And you just know it's AI slop because it looks like somebody, like, you ever see a real...
Well, it's like it's been post-processed into oblivion. Like, it's been post-processed so many times that everybody looks like they're made out of plastic.
Yeah, it is the most obvious Uncanny Valley stuff and like, even if it gets the animations right, that oily sheen on everything looks nasty when AI does stuff right now. Well, that's what the DLSS 5 is, and they seem very proud of this, enough to show it off at a trade show.
Well, they had to show something off, and they have to show something off because they don't have a GPU to show.
Yeah, they apparently have some kind of AI thing, processor that they're putting out. This just for AI.
Yeah, but that's not.
But it's
that's
not
not for consumers.
Yeah, it's not. Well, NVIDIA
it's
doesn't
not nearly not a GPU. It's not intended to be bought by normal people at all.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Does NVIDIA even NVIDIA with current consumers? What is this? They don't care about those.
Yeah, well, what does it matter if you have 94% of the market if the market can't buy any products from you because you don't make any?
Yeah, I'm really hoping we get AMD does something. I don't know what
Well,
they can do.
From all that I've heard is that they're just AMD are getting worse.
Yeah.
Like they're not responding to this as an opportunity. They just don't seem to care about anything anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what's been going on with them, but it doesn't look good.
I mean, it hasn't helped that the current United States administration has gone like full crony capitalist backing NVIDIA. Like,
yeah.
Trump can't even remember the president of NVIDIA's name. I mean, president of AMD's name, but is like, oh, buddy with Jensen Huang.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do with the NVIDIA, but yeah, if you look at the demonstration, the big demo that's going around is the one of RE9. Was that the only one they did, or did they do more? Because I didn't watch.
No, they've done heaps. They're heaps. Because they got a whole bunch of different developers on board to show off what it would do in their games. So you've got like also things like Starfield in that as well.
Yeah, and so I've only seen the Resident Evil one. I didn't watch the whole press conference, obviously, because I was stuck in Yakuza Land.
I've only seen the clips as well. I don't want to watch Jensen talk for any length of time.
Yeah.
So, he's the most annoying CEO ever. Like, I don't know how he manages to be so obnoxious.
Yeah. So you got you got him rolling out the Resident Evil characters from the newest game, RE9. And, you know, it uses the Reach for the Moon engine like all the recent Capcom games. And he loads it up normally, and the characters look fine. They look like Resident Evil characters, and he shows DLSS 5. And what it does to Leon doesn't look good, but what it does to Claire makes her look like she's suddenly a literal Barbie doll. She's so plastic. And it looks awful. Just terrible.
Yeah, and people have been dunking on NVIDIA non-stop ever since this presser. Like, the entire internet has been dunking on them. The companies that decided to go all in have been defending it, like our boy Todd,
Mm-hmm.
Todd the liar. But they're not getting much traction with it. Like, people are just not interested. But the problem, of course, is it kind of doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if people reject it because they have 94% of the market. So
yeah. So if they want to push it, it's getting pushed. There's nothing we can say boo about. And the real problem with this is if you were listening to this show, you were probably more tech savvy than the complete layman. At least enough to know what a GPU is and how it works with your video games. You may recall for the past, like, when did Monster Hunter Wilds come out? Past year and some change. On and off talking about how that game was not optimized on PC well at all, and it only got worse as more patches came out. And apparently they've done a lot to clean it up now, but it's too little too late. Developers in general seem to have just forgotten optimization. The only person that seems to be able to do it is Durante. And he is one dude and is pretty much married to Falcom at this point. And companies, as soon as NVIDIA comes out with something like this, just like they did with ray tracing and all that, are just going to use it as a cheap way to not optimize their crap and just try and force people to buy the newest GPUs and say that'll take care of it. Because optimization takes actually artful coding. You can't just, take your cookie cutter Google searches on how to set up a matrix and plug it in. You have to actually know what the F you're doing. And it seems like the current contingent of developers, especially Western developers, although Japanese developers are not exempt from it either, just don't know how to optimize anymore. Like, the art is just gone. And they're just going to make the games run worse and worse and worse and rely more and more on this DLSS AI gen crap. And your games are just going to look terrible.
Well, I mean, they're going to have to learn, because the overhead for this is non-existent, and it's not non-existent like that unless they decide, there's a broader decision of the industry to go ahead with streaming, and then that's going to cause problems because there are large sectors of the market where the connection simply won't be good enough to do that. There's no real way around the fact that most of your market can't buy a new GPU, can't buy more RAM, can't buy a new CPU, because the prices of everything are just crawling up and up and up and up. Like, you have to provide for this market, and if you want to keep the market, and the only way for them to do that is to optimize enough that people can actually play your video game. This is pretty much as simple as that. They optimize or they lose the market, because nobody's upgrading their computer anymore. That's not a thing anymore. People aren't doing that.
Yeah, everybody is frozen with what they had at the latest, like 2022. I don't know anybody that's bought anything after that, unless they were absolutely forced to because of hardware failure. Like nobody is willingly upgrading because they're a PC hobbyist right now. It's just out of price range for even the moderate hobbyists. And just to hammer home, even if you could afford new GPUs, they needed two 5090s to pull this crap off. Do you know how much power draw those things take? Like, you're going to need a 2,000 watt power supply.
I don't think I need to have, like, the juice of an electric heater running into my computer. Like, we're at the point now where you won't be able to run your computer without having an electrician to come in and do a test and tag on your equipment.
Yeah, like 2,000 watts is nuts. 1,000's already ridiculous, and we have the current GPU. Even Like the 40 series GPUs require those. Well, they don't require those, but you know, you want them if you're running the bigger ones. It's like, come on, people. And we've got to hit a point at where stuff becomes available for consumers again at a reasonable price, because the PC market is in trouble. And I hope the economy's answer isn't to go to streaming, although I'm sure they're all wringing their hands over that prospect and going to be trying to push for it.
Everyone loves subscription models.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be a mess, and it genuinely looks terrible. Like the DLSS off at lower frame rate would be a better experience than whatever that oil AI slop is.
Well, I mean, the thing is that it's also going to result in I think a lot of developers are going to be very unhappy with it, because it's the order to design the game to accommodate it is going to come from above, but it's going to represent in practice a complete violation of their art direction.
Mm-hmm.
So the actual output will be games that, number one, aren't going to be in accordance with the original art direction. Number two, aren't likely to be memorable. And number three, and possibly, depending on how it's executed, most importantly, the games will all look like each other.
Mm-hmm.
Which means none of them will be able to carve out a distinct character to become a smash hit.
Yeah, and it's gonna be it's gonna be a huge just blob of everything looking the same, because Nvidia is not. If you haven't messed with these AI image generation software before, because a bunch of the same principles are bounceable between image generation and the and what they're doing with these GPUs. Basically, you have to download a checkpoint of some kind, and this is the base data set that and rendering instructions for how the AI is going to process and create the image. And if every single NVIDIA driver update is an entire new checkpoint, or functional checkpoint, and these will be bigger than your image generation ones by a lot, who's going to have any hard drive space on their computers for this crap? Because that's the only way you can make it distinct. So they're not going to do that. That would be insane. So what they're going to do is they're just going to use the same one and just keep trying to update it, and it's just going to make all these games look identical. And worse, you're going to run into the issue where if you do have to use DLSS 5 in a game, and you use it on let's say a game comes out in 2027 and it's now 2030, and you update your drivers for your 6070 or whatever, and it comes with a new DLSS 5 update that updates that checkpoint, it could just break on the older stuff. Very, very easily at that. So now you're looking at having to keep multiple versions of drivers installed, even if they do go that route, which is also going to take a crap load of hard drive space. Well, multiple versions ready to install anyway in their little zip folders. Just everything about this seems like a bad idea.
Ultimately, this is all just like a dodge to try and cover the fact that they don't want to invest in consumer hardware development. Like, this isn't because they genuinely think this is a good route.
No, they don't want to quite give the impression they've abandoned that market yet. But all the money is in the AI crap, and so they want to throw the consumers. We're doing something, we promise. Look at this feature that we're going to tell you is great. They hoped it would just go right over people's heads how ugly it looked. So yeah, there's that story. The only other thing that's penetrated my feed besides that has been Phoebe Choopy. Interestingly, with the Phoebe Choopy memes, Whenever I get sucked into the adorable Peeb AI slop, the interesting part isn't what Peebee's doing or how she's being adorable. It's the different cute ways she says Peebee Choopy. And all
I see.
the different Phoebe Choopies. That's why I like the Bath one so much, because she's so angry. It's the angriest Phoebe Choopy. Yeah, I don't have anything else. Do you know anything else going on?
Let's see. I'm trying to remember if I saw anything that I felt was actually worth talking about, but I'm not sure that I did. I suppose there's the fact that Duet Night Abyss is basically it's I don't see how it's going to last. They got a little bit ago, they got hacked pretty egregiously, and it's turned out this past week that this seems to have resulted in malware being distributed via their game.
Oh, that's not
even
good.
though they thought they'd dealt with it.
That's
And
not
it
good
hasn't
at all.
affected everybody, yeah, it hasn't affected everybody, but it's affected enough people, and it's their fault that it's not looking very good for them, let's just say. And it's entirely due to, external malice. It's not due to anything that they did, but that's not going to matter the way things are going. Warframe also got hacked, but it was a non-destructive hack. It was just a somebody changing a message in the game or something to something, but it still represents a breach of security. But yeah, that's pretty disastrous for Duet Night Abyss in particular. They were everybody's great hope that somebody could make a business model work without using gacha, just on microtransactions. In the hopes that if it was successful enough, then the industry would gradually start to pry itself away from gacha. But they've ended up face planting for completely unrelated reasons at this point. I don't know how much it has affected their actual player engagement, but it's not going to be nothing. There's not really any way to feel like you're in a secure environment when you're playing that at this point.
What type of malware was it? It's just a generic spyware, or did it actually do
I,
destructive things?
I'm not really sure. I get the impression it was like a keylogger or something. It was not like ransomware.
Yeah, because
but
well, I don't run a dedicated antivirus anymore. You don't need them, unless you're going to very special websites. As long as you got an ad blocker turned on. When I did run one, I would always exempt my Steam Games folder because you trust those companies, and it would take the dumb thing forever to parse all your Steam games. And that's yeah, that's not good. Don't I'm reminded of what happened when it's a totally different scenario, but the tolerance for malware, as it should be, is zero in the PC gaming community. Like, I remember what happened with Gmod in or Gshade, not Gmod, Gshade in 14.
anyway, other stuff. I was disappointed to hear that Fate Extra Record has been delayed indefinitely. Like, I was disappointed, but it was basically vaporware, so I'm not that disappointed. I was not expecting it to actually come out any longer.
What was that one supposed to be?
It was basically a remake of Fate Extra.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's delayed indefinitely. It hasn't been cancelled, but I can't think of very many cases in which some project delayed indefinitely ever actually came out in the end. So I'm not really expecting to see much there. Was there anything else? I don't really feel like it was. Even a lot of major game sites have sort of been overtaken to some small extent by Gacha news, simply because the Gacha games are, number one, they're better at marketing than most other games, and number two, they have a constant flow of content and the whole purpose of their trickle marketing of the content is to keep people hype. So basically they're always going to be in the news cycle. I mean, that's what you want. You're trying to market something, but it does mean that they get a disproportionate amount of attention compared to other things, and most other things is not really able to put out the same amount of attention grabbing. I mean, it's not like people produce much new stuff anyway. Like, I guess there's Digimon DLC coming out, like,
I mean,
but that's DLC, so
yeah, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle with that in marketing. And well, the Digimon DLC is usually pretty chunky and substantive. I have been out of the game long enough that I wouldn't want to revisit it until a full replay, and I will get the DLC then. But that is now a year at least, maybe, and likely more before that's on the table. Which is often the case with these chunky DLC packs for single player games, I find nowadays. Once I finish the game, if the DLC is not out yet, I'm not going to stick around and go back to it if it's been more than a month since I finished it. I mean, I'll probably make an exception for Silksong because I really, really like Team Cherry's stuff. But that's about it.
Well, I don't think there's anything much else. I have sort of like been very at the very fringes of my attention, keeping an eye on World of Warcraft's launch of their new expansion, but it's very, very, very much seems to be just a progression through the exact same cycle as every other time, and all of their content creators are just trotting out the exact same videos except with all the nouns changed. Like, there's nothing, and nobody has learned anything. Whether they're a developer or a content creator, they're just following the exact same pattern every single time.
Yeah.
So it's not even worth really talking about because it's not going anywhere. It's just doing the same thing that it always does. Has anything else been going on that I can even remember? It was mostly just the LSS memeing. A lot of memeing. There's been a certain amount of talk/non-talk about Marathon still, but it's like, well, realistically, it doesn't matter how good Marathon is. Like, it certainly had its issues on launch, but unfortunately, they work for a company that only accepts smash hit as their outcome.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. You get to a certain size, right? And the only thing that will ever be good enough is a smash hit. And Marathon doesn't look like it was even designed to be. Like, if you look at it, its design looks unbelievably polarizing. Like, either you like that sort of like hyper saturated block colors sort of art design approach, or you hate it. There's basically nobody who's going to be ambivalent about it, and using that as your approach from the start, that's an auteur move. That's not a mass appeal move. Which is not to say that it doesn't have value, but it's not going to accomplish what your funders want you to do. And what Bungie's funders wanted to do was to create the next iteration of Destiny slop, except in a different genre. So yeah, I don't see how Bungie are going to survive this. To be honest, like even if they achieve moderate success and can keep going, they're going to get absolutely chopped up as a company by their owners.
Yeah, and like I said before, like a few of the Crits Metzen-esque types are still there, but most of the people that put together the games you loved at Bungie are gone. Like it is just a shell being walked around like a skin suit with the new people in it of the old Bungie. It's can't trust them to put out good content right now.
Well, the thing is that it really wouldn't matter if they did. Let's say that all of the creators were there and they were doing nothing but brilliant work. The fact is that this project is still auteur work. It's
Yeah.
not going to accomplish what the investors wanted from Bungie, because what they wanted from Bungie was Halo again. But Halo, like I know that a lot of people have a lot of affection for Halo, but Halo is still ultra generic.
They also
That was its strength. It's not going to put anybody off.
like the affection for Halo also comes from an era when console it was the first console shooter to really figure out the the console shooter thing. Like and that it was allowed to be generic then because it just did that part right.
Yeah,
But
like
now
a lot of I've met a lot of people who will endlessly talk up the brilliance of Halo's art or the brilliance of Halo's story, but no, I don't buy it. It doesn't really seem that remarkable to me. What it did was do something right at a particular place at a particular time.
I mean there were some interesting elements to their world they built. The problem is they didn't expand on any of the interesting stuff, and when they did touch on it, you got like the Halo Reach story. It's okay, and that was as far as they went. And they did Halo 4 and 5, and oh boy, those were bad.
Well, the thing is that I think that Halo 4 and 5 were the result of them convincing themselves that they were onto a piece of art, as opposed to a mass appeal space adventure.
They also did the weird thing. I think it was 5 that did it, where they committed the cardinal sin of storytelling when you have a multimedia franchise. They just introduced or they airdropped a ton of the book characters into the game when they'd never been in a game before, and just kind of told people to go do homework.
Yeah, well, the thing is that not only had most people not read the books, probably most of the audience wasn't even aware there were any books.
Yeah, like that was you had to be in the age demographic like that I was at to be aware of the Halo books and for those to be in your interest reading level, during high school or middle
But
school.
you can almost get away with it a little bit more with, say, World of Warcraft for a couple of reasons. Number one, the World of Warcraft player base was so vast that there's going to be a goodly number of them that do read the books, and even if you, even if they don't, even if you don't, the people who actually care about the lore implications, they do read the books. And number two, generally speaking, that particular breed of high fantasy and reading books are sort of intermingled, whereas a large portion of the player base of Halo are like, crush
Well,
beer can on forehead college kids.
yeah, your frat boys and your normies play Halo.
Like the idea that Halo even has a story probably didn't even occur to them.
They're the people that ask for a skip button. But there were interesting parts with Halsey and AI rampancy, and they just handled it all as bad as they possibly could in Halo 4 and 5.
Well, Halsey's sort of like emblematic of that, right? Because I think I played it. I think I played Halo Reach in co-op with a friend. And it's like everything that was going on in that game I didn't understand.
Yeah. Like that Halsey is interesting in concept as a character, as somebody that had to do the Spartan program and it was a monstrous program because she had no other choice. You don't know that unless you've read the books, and that takes a lot of
But
setup to do if you're going to introduce it that way. And you can't just airdrop that character that requires all that backstory and knowledge directly into the game and expect it to be coherent and engaging for people.
yes, like I played Halo 1, 2, and 3 in co-op as well, and at least those were self-contained stories. I wasn't especially impressed with the stories, but they were self-contained. They contained enough information to appreciate what was going on. But Reach was not like that.
No. Reach is where they started the airdropping of book characters and concepts and the bigger universe that had been talked about. You know, there was extra stuff in the games you could go get. Like a lot of normies went and read the terminals. Not a significant degree, and the terminals were hidden little computers that had deeper lore bits about the stuff that I mentioned before and the characters I mentioned before. But you can't just then airdrop these characters in and expect people to know their entire backstory just because you put it in a book somewhere. Like that is autistic levels of writing and not understanding your entertainment medium almost unseen. The only other culprit that was as bad about it was probably 15, and that wasn't because it was established years ahead of time. That's because they went so wide on their different media they put out for that game that nobody had consumed everything, and you needed to consume all of it to have a clue what was going on. But yeah, no, they dropped their ball on storytelling. They started to drop it in Reach, and it only got worse and worse. All the interesting aspects of the universe were fumbled horrifically from Reach onward. The the first three games, I like the first three games a lot. You know, if you just want the hoorah, big explosions, fairly straightforward story. Here are the bad aliens. This is why the aliens are bad. Let's go blow stuff up. They're great for that. You know, they're the first games to figure out the console shooter thing. They had a very vibrant and live online community at the time when they were the games. Good memories, good times. Shooters have moved
They
on since
also,
then.
but the thing is, they were. I think that their decline actually started with Halo 2, like after Halo 2, rather than after Halo 3, because Halo 2 had way more character than Halo 3, and their take in Halo 2 on co-op multiplayer for the campaign was infinitely better. Well, their take on the campaign generally was infinitely better in Halo 2 compared to Halo 3. Halo 3 was just you are on rails and you proceed in this one direction, you kill everything in your way. Whereas Halo 2 actually had embedded in it distinctive gameplay styles, opportunities for actual cooperation between the players, etc., etc. Whereas you were just a pair of gun turrets in Halo 3. The technology level had shot way up compared to Halo 2 as far as the game development was concerned, but the amount of creativity within that scope was pretty significantly diminished, was my impression. Because I played all three back to back, because I'd never played them at the time that they came out. So I played 1, 2, and 3 in sequence with my flatmate, and 2 was just the high point as far as gameplay was concerned, and it was not close.
I remember Halo 2 was coming out, and I got a grainy, like, you know, back then, just having video at all. So, of course, it was grainy 240p, you know, glorious 240p. But it showed off all the stuff they had cobbled together in this E3 trailer for Halo 2. Like the vehicle hijacking and the way the rockets could lock onto stuff. And this was just like the coolest crap in the world for innovative ideas at the time. And 3, yeah, 3 didn't really expand on that very much. The equipment system was a fumble, I think. Everybody eventually got to a point where equipment was only used in custom games, or they turned it off, or there'd be like one piece of equipment on the map, and that was really the only piece of difference between the two gameplay. Well, you could pick up the turret.
It was a gimmick, it wasn't a feature.
Yeah. Yeah, you could pick up the turret too, and that dominated maps for a while until they patched it.
But like the whole aspect where you would have like Master Chief would be the run and gun guy, and the Arbiter would require a certain amount of stealth and picking your route by comparison. And so it's more of a tactical style of gameplay compared to the Master Chief. Like that bifurcation in gameplay, despite the fact that nominally speaking, both of those characters continue to exist, they both converged on Chief's gameplay only.
Yeah, they also. It's been a long time since I played Halo 3's campaign. I played it to death when it was out. It's been a long time since I've gone through it.
One thing that's also very obnoxious is the forced to walk slowly while Cortana talks at you sequences
Oh,
that are
and
just all over the place.
the worst is the level Cortana, where you're inside the flood hive, the infected high charity, and
Is
you
that the
have
one where everything is brown?
the one where everything is flood flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, where spooky Cortana just will make you stop and listen to her.
So I don't know, maybe there are some people who were attached enough to Cortana for some reason they wanted that, but I absolutely didn't.
Yeah, but generally speaking, I enjoy the first three Halo games a lot. Still, I've gone back and played them recently and still like them. Uh, went through an entire series marathon with Ibu about 2 3 years ago because he hadn't played them, and walked him through the games and took him through stuff because I hadn't played 4 and 5 yet and was not ready for just how bad they were.
Yeah, they were deeply atrocious. I did play those as well. Well, no, I played 4. But by the time I had finished playing 4, I told my flatmate I wasn't playing another Halo with him again because that was terrible.
Yeah, we played it on Game Pass Stream Play, the free trial, and oh boy, 4 and 5 were bad, like really bad. But yeah, the creative heads that were excited at Bungie and talking in that 240p video about dual wielding and how cool of a feature this was and all the steps they had to go through to get it to work right and test it and balance it and how excited they were for vehicle hijacking and just all these new concepts they would come up with and just see if they could program it. All those people are gone. And of the bits and pieces of that team that are left, none of them are the gameplay development heads of the time back when that had the creative drive to try new crap like that. They're all gone. Like the excitement to make a new exciting game, and that being what makes your game sell, that's poof. And
Why bother? You can just remake something.
And worse, they're now directly owned by Microsoft, so they've got current Microsoft as their overlords. And we've seen how well that's worked out for everybody under Microsoft. You know, see their own Windows development team and every person and company under Microsoft being handed the we need to see plus 15% profit margins every year. Like,
Yeah, I get KPIs like that as well. I know what it feels like.
Like the myth of perpetual growth is just bananas. Like it just makes everything worse.
Yeah, and I visibly see that every day at work. Like, or the number one cause of stress that I experience on a day-to-day basis is driven by the myth of perpetual growth. The sort of expectations that are routinely placed on me by management because they expect that I can just somehow make more money appear if I only manage harder.
If you just wish hard enough, the money will fall from the money tree. You just buy enough Phoebe figures. You'll have enough P
Afraid
power.
that I do not wish to buy any figures if they cannot make it to me intact, and generally speaking, they can't.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, have you got anything else? Anything else to talk about? No.
I've heard people tell me they're enjoying Marathon, but they're also the same people that are. How do I put this? There are two types of fans for any given uh, company or series. There are the fans that are diehards and know everything about it, and want it to be the best it can be, and will be heavily scrutinizing everything. And there are the fans that will love everything no matter what. They are the latter, so I can't take their word for it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people say that it's got conceptually got promise because it's sort of in some respects it's interesting because apparently it's quite asymmetric in the sense that different players within the game have different objectives which may or may not be mutually exclusive. Like some of them will be able to accomplish their faction's objectives by PvE, but others might want PvP or some other type of strange objective. I don't know a lot about it, but it sounds to me based on descriptions like as a concept there's potential there, but I don't really see it as being. I don't see it as being something that's going to take off. Not in the way that the type of investors they have will need it to in order to feel like their investment was justified. And I think that it is quite likely that they're going to get pretty grievously burned by this.
Yeah, you're going to get life supported pretty quick with that game, I think, just because it feels like Sony already wrote it off as a failure, or whoever was in charge of it. But yeah. So I unfortunately can't take the first-hand account seriously from it because I grew up in the generation where Halo was the thing. And all the people I know that are playing it are the diehard Bungie fans that were trying to tell me Destiny was the greatest thing since sliced bread for 2 years. No matter
from everything I've heard about it, most of the positivity is just copium. It's like they really want to believe that Bungie can work magic.
Yeah, like no. I mean, if you can still find it, that 240p video of Jason and the other guys talking about all the stuff the team is just excited to try. And the funny part is, none of this crap was ready for E3. They had to turbo crunch to get the E3 demo ready. Just because they had all these cool ideas and didn't want to cut any of them. And just remember at the time, things like dual wielding, vehicle hijacking, and all that was novel and new. It is a very interesting dynamic to see people that just have genuinely interesting ideas and want to do cool stuff versus the type of corpo culture all these companies eventually devolve into, like modern Bungie. See Destiny and its monetization problems. And 343 ain't any better. Don't get your hopes up with that. If you're,
I think that they're probably significantly worse.
Yeah, like they're probably worse. The guy that's the head of that studio, people are like, oh, he's an old veteran from Bungie. He was the dude that managed the press releases. Like he was the dude that wrote the blog posts for the website. Like Frank O'Connor is the dude that drew Mr. Chief, the dude that was the crayon drawing of Master Chief with the teeth on the visor. Like that is not one of the core people in development.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I will elucidate.
The only media even tangentially related to Halo that I know about other than the games itself. I'm dimly aware that the books exist. I remember watching some kind of like anime shorts or something, which were quite terrible.
What about RB and the Chief?
RB and the Chief is the other one I've heard of.
That's Mr. Chief.
Mainly because I ended up using the phrase "Who would do this, Chief?" Who I ask you every time anybody does anything that I am incredulous about.
Yeah, that is Frankie's Mr. Chief. Like and like when Halo 2 was a thing and he would write the blog posts, every so often he would include a new drawing of Mr. Chief. And it was just Mr. Chief was Master Chief, but with angry eyebrows and eyes and teeth outside the visor. I posted it in the live show chat to enlighten you all. Yeah, it's sad to see all these old companies we used to like just fall into the corpo void, but it do be that way.
The thing that I'm incredulous about is that they're not being replaced by anybody.
Yeah.
Like, there's not really anybody who's stepping up to fill their shoes. It's just like, oh, well, that creativity died and is just gone from the world, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah. If you want people with genuinely good ideas, I mean, the indie studios that are able to put stuff out, I mean, your only hope really is the indie and double A's at this point. The triple A's aren't going to be able to do it because the video games are now recognized by the wider investor culture market. Like they have investors to keep happy. They don't give a crap about just making a game and making it because they want to. They think this is a good idea. Never mind that they're more likely to be ideologically poisoned and just preach at you instead of tell you a good story or give you something fun to play, because they're all in flipping California.
Well, that gets you ESG points, so that's not even a negative.
Yeah. So your only hope is like your sandboxes that made Clair Obscur. Like people, I saw a lot of people getting fired up about how Clair Obscur won everything of the game. It deserved it, and the key takeaway here seems to be they were a double A studio. Like everybody.
Well, I'm still waiting for it to be proven that it's not the case that you only get one.
Yeah. But they've won extra brownie points in my book by putting out that giant free DLC for free.
I mean, that's great and all, but I want to see that it's still possible for a company to just make good products rather than bottling lightning this one time.
Yeah, and never mind that there's still the risk of these double A's falling to the corpo culture as soon as they get recognized. Like they've got money now, they've got eyes on them. Like Team Cherry, the only reason they've got away with what they're doing and with Silksong and Hollow Knight is because the three dudes that are that company are autistic as crap.
Yeah, they basically have gone into hiding.
Yeah, like they are deathly afraid of all that attention. But at the same time, these double A's and indie developers that are actually able to produce this content, there aren't very many of them. Like they don't get the kind of coverage you would think, and I think we could really use a healthy double A market. But I don't know how you can get it.
I mean, I would be fine with AAA if I thought that they were going to make anything good.
Yeah, but I've given up on AAA making anything good. If they do, I'll write it off as a fluke. Like, I'm more willing to give extra credence to double A's just because they're smaller and there's a chance they can get away with a few before they become corpo corrupted. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be very many of them. Even in the indie sphere, when Silksong released it at its incredibly reasonable price point, what did most of the indie scene do? Well, what did most of the vocal part of the indie scene do? Flip their lid. Because our game's $20. And our game is way worse than Silksong and doesn't have anywhere near the content. Like,
no, the normal approach for those people is to tell fans that they're wrong for liking it. It's like, how do you like this? This is slop. This is not art like our game is.
yeah, take the Phil Fish approach. Just go full art autist. Yeah, we're rambling. I'm reaching for topics. You want to wrap it?
I keep thinking that Fern's going to come back any second, and then he keeps not doing that.
I was buying time to give him a bit in case he wanted to talk about the DLSS stuff, but he might be gone.
It could be so, and I can't think of anything else that really happened that I want to talk about this week. It's just been kind of grim across the board. Like, of the three of us, I probably take more interest in the hardware market than you guys, but the hardware market is freaking grim right now. My goodness, it might as well be an organized criminal enterprise at this point.
Yeah, I have the little bit I've looked into it is not good, but I'm usually outside of the hardware sphere unless I'm looking to make purchases soon, and I start moving in that direction, and I'll pay attention to what's out for like 3 months.
The thing is that there's not, it's not exclusively like bad stuff happens in the hardware space. Like, there's lots of like really good innovation in certain aspects of design, like case design, cooling design, airflow, that type of thing. Like, those sort of like corners of hardware, people are doing interesting in work that is only not valuable because nobody can afford a computer to put inside them.
Yeah. So yeah, it can't all be grim forever. Like, even if the current everything goes as bad as we expect it to, we'll find a way to adjust and work around it. While the corpos are staffed by greedy people, we are people too. Just I try not to doom about it too much. Oh, Charmony Pigeon. Fourth.
Well, then stop starting wars in Persia.
Don't look at me.
You voted for him.
I mean, would you prefer I vote for the other one? Because that would have probably resulted in even worse. We got two choices.
That's why I say you should have had a king. Anyway.
And then we would have no choices.
Yeah, but it wouldn't matter because you could just behead him.
But, what you call it? So yeah, I think we're done, folks. This has been one more 10 pull for the road.
You may, in fact, just be a gambling addict.
Oh, no, purples. Okay.
No, gold.
We got a Bizy. Okay. So, no Segrica. That's okay. Although, the one more 10 pull for the road was so I could get my season special on the premiere podcast thing.
Oh, I see.
So, all right. We will see y'all next week. Sayonara. Bye-bye.